what's going on, everybody? Welcome to WWE Aftershock. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with
Chris.
Welcome back to WWE Aftershock, by the way. You haven't done the show since, well, I guess after WrestleMania, we did, a post-show, and then, we didn't do the show for a little while because we did the tier list and stuff, and then Steve did the episode last week, and now you're back this week. How's it feel to be back?
Feels great. Feels amazing.
You kind of forgot about it today, but that stuff happens. I've forgotten about shows before too, so that happens sometimes. We're back to our traditional schedule too. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna review every single piece of wrestling show that came out this week, at least on TV. We're not gonna do the live shows. Unless you had a live show and you just didn't tell me about it. But we'll be covering some stuff. But are you ready to just get right into it? Get right into talking about these shows.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna start with main event because main event's the pre-show essentially.
Jey Uso?
Before, no, not that main event. It's the actual TV show main event. So let's just get right into it. Main event took place on May 8th, 2024, but it was taped Monday, so that would be taped whatever date was happened. The commentary team was Blake Howard, and it looked like he was going to go solo because there was no Brian Smith. There was no, JBL this time to fill in for him. So this time The Miz came out and did commentary with him. Kind of a callback because, early main event days, The Miz used to do commentary for it. So he was kind of back in his roots. I don't think he's ever going to be back again. He probably saw, the state of main event, what the state of main event was now. He was probably yeah, not coming back.
Nope, not.
But we had a couple matches on here, and I wrote them down this time. I remember last time we did main event review, I was struggling to remember what was on it, but this time I didn't forget. They were both tag matches, and I like tag matches. The first one was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance versus Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn. This is an okay tag team match here. Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn won with a Widow's Peak into a flatliner combo on it was either Kaden Carter or Katana Chance. I don't remember which one it was. It's a 2-star match, nothing special. And then we had the main event of the actual show, which was the Creed Brothers versus New Catch Republic. This was really good. Really good back and forth match right here. Eventually the New Catch Republic won when they both hit the Tyler Driver 97 on Julius Creed for the win. But this was a really good match. I give it 3.5 stars. I definitely think they should do this match on Raw when it can have more time and everything like that. But overall, main event was a good show. I'll give it a B-. I liked the commentary back and forth between The Miz and Blake Howard, and I liked the main event match between the Creed Brothers and New Catch Republic. So yeah, overall relatively solid stuff right there. Let's go over Monday Night Raw now. And Monday Night Raw was a very wrestle-heavy show because it was the start of the King of the Ring tournament. I'm excited that it's back. I hope, now that it's under the Triple H regime, that it can actually be used properly, because obviously it was kind of starting to suck towards the Vince regime because no one really benefited from winning the tournament itself. So I kind of hope that can change this time around, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's just start talking about Raw. Raw took place on May 6, 2024. We had the commentary team of Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. And it kicked off with the Judgment Day came out to do a promo. And Damian Priest apologized for not accepting the help of Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And he apologized for, basically not checking his ego at the door. But he said that he's not going to apologize for not joining in the beatdown and calling off the beatdown that happened with Jey Uso. He said that, Jey Uso showed himself like he could be a strong contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And he felt like, that he kind of earned his respect. And Finn Balor and JD McDonough, kind of forgave him. They did a group hug, and this was funny because Dominic Mysterio was out there in his sling, and he joined, and he hugged Damian Priest from behind, and it was kind of awkward, but it was still kind of funny. And then Finn Balor got all cocky because he was supposed to face Drew McIntyre in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament, but Drew McIntyre wasn't medically cleared to compete, so the match was called off. But Finn Balor thought that he was just gonna like basically get a bye in advance, which that's how it's supposed to work. But so he started getting all cocky, talking about like how the Prince is gonna become the new King of the Ring, and then Adam Pearce came out and said that that's not how it's going to happen. Finn Balor is going to earn his way in the tournament like everybody else is, and he announces the replacement for Drew McIntyre, which was Jey Uso, and you could definitely spot trouble was happening when this happened. Yeah, Jey Uso came out. They had a match. They had a really good match. It was actually a great match. Jey Uso, got a lot of offense in the beginning. He had some really good suicide dives in the beginning. But then Finn Balor started to take control. He started bouncing Jey Uso's head off the announcer's table. He threw him into the steps. And he ended up mocking this whole hand thing when he went up and, went on the table and basically had all the crowd do it, but they weren't into it. And eventually, Drew McIntyre was watching from he came out through the crowd, and he was kind of giving Jey Uso a little bit of an intense stare down, but it wasn't, it didn't really cost Jey Uso the match. He was still able to focus, and he ended up hitting a spear on Finn Balor, followed by the splash for the win. And Jey Uso advanced in the King of the Ring tournament. I thought this was a great match right here. I gave it 4 stars. Great first round match in the King of the Ring tournament altogether. Overall, what did you think of everything that happened? The Judgment Day promo and the first King of the Ring match in the whole tournament between Jey Uso and Finn Balor.
I thought the opening segment was very good, and I thought that the first match of the King of the Ring tournament was great. Jey Uso's the man.
He is.
He will forever be main event Jey Uso.
Even though he's the opener on this show, but whatever.
It's the main event. That was the main event.
Yeah. So then, what was your star rating for the Jey Uso Finn Balor match? I was going to do star ratings since the King of the Ring's important.
I give it 3.
Okay. Then, they go to commercial break and they come back. And then we see the backstage, Drew McIntyre and Adam Pearce are having a conversation. And Drew McIntyre is upset that not only that he was pulled from the King of the Ring tournament, but the fact that he was replaced with Jey Uso. He kind of feels like Adam Pearce should have kind of talked about it, so that way he could kind of agree who would take his place, because he didn't really want it to be Jey Uso. And basically Adam Pearce tells him to leave, and Drew McIntyre leaves, and basically within not even 3 seconds he pulls out of the arena. CM Punk pulls in, and he tells Adam Pearce that he's looking for Drew McIntyre. And Adam Pearce says that you literally just missed him. He just left. And then CM Punk's just like, oh, I haven't played my music. I'm going to the win. This was hilarious. The fact that CM Punk just came in literally right when Drew McIntyre left. This was hilarious. What did you think of this overall before we talk about Punk's promo?
I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Just convenient.
Yeah. And then, CM Punk, they do the whole Lee Fitting thing where it's all just one shot. CM Punk starts making his way to the ring. He gives Chad Gable a nice little handshake, and he goes to the ring. And he talks about how he's been playing mind games with Drew McIntyre. He just wants to fight him, and basically he has Pat McAfee pull out his phone and write a post on X, so that way put it on his X page. So that way, Drew McIntyre would know that he's there and everything like that. Because, he realizes that Drew McIntyre is one of these lunatics that probably goes on their phone while they're driving. And he talks about, he basically just cuts this hellacious promo on McIntyre, talking about how, when he came back to WWE and Drew McIntyre had injured him, it motivated him to want to get better. And he talked about how he ruined all his hopes and dreams, but he said that he can wait to main event WrestleMania. But for Drew McIntyre, all he does is just consistently complain. He talked about how he complains that he only held the World Championship for just over 5 minutes. He complains that he was drafted, after Punk in the draft. And he complains that, CM Punk is playing mind games with him. And basically CM Punk is just stalling. But Drew McIntyre never comes out. He never shows back up again, and that was pretty much it. I really like this promo by Punk. I like that they're continuing the storyline, even though both Punk and McIntyre are injured. This is still one of the best. It's probably the best feud in all of wrestling right now. And I can't wait to see them finally have a match with each other. But overall, what did you think of CM Punk's promo here? I thought it was awesome.
I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was. I thought it was great. I love the. I love when he was calling on McIntyre. McIntyre just wasn't there, and then he made Pat make that post, and it was so funny. He's probably raging at the wheel right now. It killed me. I was like, "This is great." This is such a great promo.
I thought it was hilarious too. When Pat McAfee went to pull out his phone to send the X post. Is it called Twitter again? Because Punk was calling it Twitter here. Unless Punk just doesn't know it's called X. Is it actually? Did it go back to Twitter and I just know about it? Because Punk was calling it Twitter a lot here. So
everyone calls it Twitter. No one calls it X but you.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure, But I thought it was funny when Pat McAfee went to pull out his phone. He didn't anticipate he was gonna have to log himself in. He's like, oh my gosh, wait, I gotta log myself in. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, whatever. Then we had next Ricochet gets interviewed and he talks about how he's been on fire recently, and he said that tonight he's gonna take it to Ilya Dragunov and he's gonna issue him a unwelcome welcome to Monday Night Raw. What'd you think of this? I thought this was good. Good promo by Ricochet.
I thought it was very good.
A mistake. Good promo. A mistake they made on this show is he just won the Speed Championship recently, and he should have come out with the belt just because not a lot of people I think are going to be interested in Speed just because I think they're going to think it's another main event level show, and I feel like him not coming out with the belt kind of basically solidified that. So I think if he at least come out with the championship, it would have gotten people talking about Speed or what the hell is that championship? Because they mentioned he was the Speed champion. It just would have helped if he came out with the belt. Do you think he should have come out with the belt, or do you think he should have just forgotten about the belts?
I think coming out with the belt would have helped. I feel like that was kind of a misstep. He was just crowned the new Speed champion, and then to not have the belt on him felt just kind of odd.
Yeah.
Then he just won it 2 days before the show?
Yeah, pretty much. So, and also just kind of bury Speed a little bit, because it would have gone a long way to kind of show him Speed matters at least a little bit. But now that he didn't, I feel like this kind of shows that he's never going to come out with a belt unless it's on Speed type of thing. So,
But it seems like I hope they correct that.
Yeah, we'll see. Then
because there's no point for him to even have it.
But yeah, no point of Speed at all if you're not going to have the person who was the champion come out with their championship and stuff. So, but then
they got to do better with it.
Yeah, then we had the Queen of the Win first round tournament. We had Io Sky with Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane ringside versus Natalya. No Asuka. We'll get to why that was the case later on. Very good match right here. Very back and forth. Natalya dedicated the match to Owen Hart, because he was the king of Hearts and everything like that. If she wasn't going to win, she probably shouldn't have even done that just because, it was just kind of weird because she wasn't winning this match, even if she dedicated it to the entire Hart family type of thing. And she was just no way she was going to win this. You could have bet the house on Natalya winning. It wasn't going to happen. So I hope you didn't bet your house, Chris, because you'd be homeless right now. So
I would be because I knew she wasn't winning.
Yeah. So good thing you didn't bet your parents would be having a serious conversation with you if you bet the house on Natalya winning and everything like that. So
thank God I didn't.
Yeah. But Io Sky won with the moonsault. I always called it the prettiest moonsault ever, but that's not her name. That's not the name of it. That's somebody else's name. And yeah, obviously it made sense for Io Sky to win. I think she's going to probably make it all the way to the finals, at least on the Raw side of it, and then she'll face whoever the SmackDown winner is or whatever. But yeah, overall, this was very good. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. There was points where, Natty almost had it won with the discus clothesline, but other than that, it was pretty obvious Io Sky was winning. Afterwards, they cut a promo. Damage Control does. and they talk about like how they're gonna get the women's tag titles back. They talk about how to have Becky watch out because the last time Damage Control was on Raw, they took out Becky Lynch, which isn't true, but I guess they mean like they say it's now a new Damage Control that's under new management and everything like that. Because obviously the last time they were on Raw, Becky beat them in the cage match and like won the match at WrestleMania, so they kind of forgot about that, but whatever. And she also Dakota Kai announced that she's going to take Asuka's place in the Queen of the Wind tournament because Asuka's injured. So instead it's going to be Dakota versus Lyra versus instead of Asuka versus Lyra.
Yeah.
Which explained why Asuka
Bunch of
wasn't
injuries for WWE recently.
Yeah, we'll
in
get to that.
Queen King of the Ring tournaments.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
A bunch of substitutions.
Yeah. It had been reported that Asuka was injured anyways. I think she just worked through the injury, but now that she doesn't have the women's tag titles anymore, it kind of makes sense for her to take some time off.
Couldn't even walk. But I saw.
Yeah. So.
At Backlash, they showed I didn't see it at the time, but they showed her entrance when they were doing their entrance. Like she was like relying heavily on Io. She was hurting bad.
But overall, very good match right here between Io and Natalia. I gave it 3 3/4 stars, and I thought Damage Control cut a good promo afterwards. What'd you think of all of this stuff right here? The match and then the promo afterwards.
I thought it was a good match too. Yeah, I didn't mind it.
What's your nice little
good promo?
What's your nice little style?
I give it 3.
All right, good.
I'll give it 3. That's a good 3.
Then we had a vignette for Ilya Dragunov because he was about to debut next. Good vignette. It's everything that we've seen for him. Ever since he's come to the main, not the main roster, but to NXT and everything like that. Pretty much, it was a good vignette. What do you think of his vignette? I thought it was a nice little vignette that he had.
I liked it. It was a good vignette. I thought it was very good. Explaining who he was and what he was doing there.
Then we had Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet in the King of the Ring first round match. This was great, fantastic. The crowd really got into this match. I personally didn't think so, but I think it might have been just because, it was obviously definitely a difference going from France's crowd to like this crowd. So the crowd was still loud, but not as loud as France. So you definitely notice a difference when they go internationally versus when they come back. So, but they were still pretty.
It's what makes it special when they go overseas like that.
But but that's why I didn't think the crowd was that into this. But in hindsight, they were. It's just again when you go from watching it in France 2 days before to now, it's like what a difference that was. But yeah, this was still great stuff. It kind of helps too because I think Dragunov has shown up on the main roster like a few times. This isn't like the first time because I know he faced Nakamura like after WrestleMania, but I'm pretty sure he's been on other times. I just can't think of other times he would have been on the main roster, but he's been on the main roster a few times. Kind of helps that he fought Ricochet too because he was able to really throw Ricochet around and do a lot of his great offense with him and everything like that. Like there's this point where like he does like this German suplex on the floor and Ricochet like lands face first. It looked like that killed Ricochet. Eventually he wins with the European uppercut out of the corner. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. But yeah, this was a great match. This really could have gone either way. And I gave it 4.5 stars. This was really great. A great showcase for Dragunov, and I thought Ricochet really showcased himself well. What'd you think of this overall?
The match is fantastic. Again, this is like another one of those matches that like the styles just match up perfectly. Yeah. Two guys who are phenomenal in the ring together. This is literally like a PLE level match, and we got it on free TV.
There was one point I forgot to mention too. Well, Dragunov went for his finish, and Ricochet counted into the recoil, which is a great counter. He counted it like in midair and everything like that. He got a really nice near fall out of it. So I give it 4.5. What'd you give this?
I give it 4.5. This match was phenomenal.
Yeah. Then Sheamus got interviewed, and he talked about, how he's looking forward to getting back in the ring with Walter and said that, he's going to perform Banner after Banner, and he's going to, win the King of the Ring again like he did back in 2010. Good promo by Sheamus. I thought it was good stuff.
Yeah, I love the promo by Sheamus. Just kind of again, this is more so just reintroducing himself back to the credits. He's been back for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a really good promo.
Um, then we had Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile in a Queen of the Wind first round match. Um, this was pretty good. Out of all of the canon Queen of the Wind matches that took place, this was probably the weakest match because it was the most predictable, and also too, it was. I feel like this match was very quick. Um, so that's kind of it kind of had that going for it. Um, and yeah, overall, Ivy Nile looked really strong in this match. She looked very strong in defeat, but eventually, Zoe Stark finally gets the win with the C4 360. I would have preferred Ivy Nile to win this match just because she's been pushed on TV a little bit more recently than Zoe Stark has, and I thought that would have been like a nice person. Because then I think from how it lines up, I think she would have faced Lyra next, and I would have really liked to see that match, but that's just not going to happen now. I mean, we'll probably get that match in the future, but whatever. Overall, this was pretty good. I gave it 3.25 stars. I thought they both, worked with the time limit that they had. What'd you think of all of this stuff?
Um, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought they worked well. Again, it's a relatively short match. Yeah, I give it 3.
Um, and then yeah, the Judgment Day are backstage. And they'll all just kind of talk about Finn Balor being ousted from the tournament. Damian Priest isn't mad at him for it or anything like that, but they talk about how they have to handle the Braun Strowman problem after what happened with him. Um, the previous episode of Raw. So he said that JD is going to handle the problem, and when JD hears this, he like gets this look on his face that like he's upset that he has to go handle that problem. Because I forgot to mention that in the interview when Ricochet was being interviewed, like Braun Strowman came up to him and was like, which was kind of cool because it shows they didn't like. I don't think they got a team anymore, but it shows they didn't forget like about that friendship and all that type of stuff. So I thought that was like good and everything like that. Um, and then
Like
huh?
I like that a lot.
Yeah. But then Dominic Mysterio comes up with Carlito, and basically Carlito realizes that he's going to need help with the LWO because he's basically outnumbered. So why'd you turn on him? I guess he didn't think he was going to get caught, but like I don't know why why would you turn on him if you're going to be outnumbered? But what was his plan, by the way? Like, if he was he just going to stay with him until he found like a way to get? I don't even know what his plan was. Um,
Nothing.
yeah, but anyhow, you know, Carlito basically says that if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So this is probably going to lead to like, maybe JD will face Braun Strowman, uh, since we're recording this Monday tonight on Raw, and then after the match, like Carlito will attack Braun, and because he does this, they'll have to like, help take out the LWO or something. I could see something like that happening. Um, but obviously, Damian Priest isn't into it because obviously the last time Carlito and I think Judgment Day were together was right after that Puerto Rico street fight at Backlash last year. So Dominic Mysterio kind of has to pull like Carlito out of there and says, he'll come around. Don't worry, he'll come around. And right when I kind of saw Dom pop up with Carlito, it's like, does Dom just like leech off of all the people that like that turn on Rey Mysterio? Did she just leech off of them like right after that? Like what's
Yes,
going on?
this is a useless fuck.
Oh wow, what do you think of this backstage segment right here?
I thought it was really good, and again, it's showing more um, that Damien's losing control,
Yeah.
and I think eventually, especially what happened in Lyon, France, where he was pretty pissed at the Judgment Day for coming out, Finn and JD, notably, and I think eventually the group's just going to turn on him,
Yeah. I mean,
and kind of leaning that way too. And everything going on with Liv and Dom. I
oh
think
yeah.
pretty soon. I think pretty soon we'll be seeing the ouster of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest from the Judgment Day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I do have to ask you this because a lot of people are saying this. A lot of people are starting to think Rey Mysterio was the problem all along because everyone keeps turning on him. We've had Dom turn on
Oh,
him. A lot of
these
people are
people are
saying,
idiots.
"What do you want?"
It's
did you?
stupid.
Can I at least give you
They
the?
don't use their brain.
Can I at least give you the evidence that they said, and then maybe you can give your evidence afterwards?
No,
Okay.
that poor man can't have any friends.
Well, why do you think they
No,
keep?
they're mean to him.
Wouldn't it be hilarious though if like when Wade goes heel, he's gonna be like, "Why do you think people keep turning on me? Because I'm a piece of shit," type of thing. Like that'd be funny if Wade goes heel and then like everyone else goes face because of that.
Never would it, never. My heart would be broken.
I mean, they can't. Remember, like WWE 12, they like beat WCW like beat the shit out of him, and then he joined up with them, which didn't even make any sense. Like that was hilarious. Like he just
None of it
joined,
made any sense. They beat him into submission.
and then he just joined them. Um, Next, Lava Valkyria had a nice little vignette. It's a good little vignette, showing why she's on Raw. Walks in, Perez really made a mistake, wanted to get that NXT Women's Championship. Because if she never went heel and got that championship, she'd probably be on Raw right now. And that's just hilarious. It's fun. I'm going to laugh every
It's
time.
even funny.
I just think it's funny because Roxanne Perez was just like, "Oh, what's going to happen to you once you lose the NXT Women's Championship? You're going to like go into like you're going to have to like pick yourself up." And then right after that, she got drafted to Raw. That's awesome. I even predicted that was going to happen too. Like she got drafted.
They were like, "Hey, we're gonna do this match, and you're gonna lose, but in the end, you're actually gonna win because you get to be away from Shawn Michaels."
That's awesome. But what do you think of her vignette? I thought it was good.
I thought it was good too. I think she's gonna be great on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
That was a great draft pick.
I do too. Then Walter's backstage and he talks about how he looks forward to the King of the Ring tournament, and he mentions to Sheamus that he's not concerned about putting on Bano after Bano. All he wants to do is just beat the shit out of Sheamus. And then that was it. I thought it was good stuff. What do you think of this? This was good stuff.
I thought it was good. It's gonna be a hard hitting main event to say the least.
Yeah. Then we have Becky Lynch's exclusive interview. Michael Cole interviews her, and he's asking her questions about like what being the women's world champion and everything like that. She kind of does like a breakdown of all everybody on the women's roster, at least on Raw, anyways. And then Liv Morgan interrupts her, and she just basically she asked when she's gonna get her women's world title match, because if it wasn't for her, Becky Lynch wouldn't have even been the women's world champion because she was out of the title picture, and then she took out Rhea and it opened up the door for her to win the Battle Royal. Even though Liv was in the Battle Royal and lost, but whatever. So it's like, if Liv had just
That
won
doesn't matter.
Yeah, if Liv had just won the Battle Royal, I mean, it's not like they make it seem like Becky, like, yeah, Liv took out Rhea, but like Becky won a Battle Royal to win the belt, so it's not like, it's not like she completely helped Becky win the championship, so whatever. But then Becky reveals that at King and Queen of the Win, she's gonna face Liv for the women's world title. And then Damage Control minus Asuka come out, and I think Io was out there. Yeah, Io was out there. So Damage Control come out, and Dakota Kai talk about how they made a name off of taking out Becky Lynch, and they say that all they are is just pawns playing around until they get to the women's world title. They talk about how like Liv doesn't even deserve a title shot because Becky basically gave her one. So they surround the ring, and Becky and Liv go to fight them, and then Liv rolls out of the ring and basically says, "That's not my fight, not my problem." And you pointed this out in the chat, and I was thinking this too. They just insulted you though, so why is it not your problem? Like, it's just so weird.
Why is it not your problem?
But I get it. The turn and Liv heel, so it's whatever. And then Live Valkyria runs out, and I like too, like when she was on the stage, she was like asking Liv like, "What the hell? Why are you making the save?" And then afterwards, she just gets into the ring and kind of helps Becky fight off Damage Control. So this was good stuff. I like this a lot. And we can talk about it now since Liv's here. There might be more towards Liv's heel turn because I'm gonna let you talk about it because it involves Dom, your favorite wrestler right now. I mean, he's so good he couldn't even get to the Hall of Fame category when we did our tier list for the Raw roster. That's pretty dated now. But why don't you kind of talk about what might be going on behind the scenes between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio?
They it was shown for the eagle-eyed viewer um, that Liv and Dom left the same area together and looking very suspicious almost. And it showed she did something later on, and in her pocket she had a purple bandana, which is the staple of the Judgment Day,
Yeah.
which is very interesting.
Um.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I kind of hope it's leading to Liv. You want a Judgment Day? What I would do is I would keep doing this subtly, and then when Rhea comes back, I would kind of still have her be in Judgment Day. Whenever she comes back though, because that's obviously all going to depend. And then like when Rhea and Liv have a match for the title, because it's going to lead to Liv defending the title at some point against Rhea. I would have Dom turn on her, and then the relationship get like revealed and all that type of stuff. Um, and then that's how Rhea basically turns babyface type of thing. Um, that's how I kind of like to see it be done. Like obviously, you could always
Yeah,
like you could essentially you could still have Liv be heel, because I think Liv should still turn heel before Rhea comes back, but like still have Rhea kind of be tweener when she comes back, and then like that's how she fully turns babyface. There's no real reason for Rhea to turn a babyface right now. I think if Dom turns on her, that'd be even better reason to turn a babyface. And we talked about this, but if all lines up, that can lead to someone, her fiance maybe coming in from AEW to kind of even out the odds and everything like that. That could be a way to get him back into the fold. So, um, you know, just saying.
who
Um,
knows?
but this led to the first round match of the Queen of the Wind tournament between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai. This was a pretty good match. Um, you know, um, they had a nice back and forth match with each other. It's a little disappointing because it could have been Asuka, but obviously the injury kind of prevented that. So I don't think Dakota Kai was like the best substitution compared to what we would have had. Uh, there was a funny bit in the match. I think it was during commercial because I saw it later on WWE's like Instagram like shorts or whatever, where like Pat McAfee was like yelling at not Lyra, Dakota to get Lyra back into the ring, and Dakota was just like, I got 10 seconds. And she was like really yelling at Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee was telling like, okay, you got 10 seconds. And like, she wouldn't stop yelling at Pat like the rest of the match, which was really funny. Um, Afterwards, though,
Fucking
Lyra,
rude.
huh?
Fucking rude.
I mean, Pat was just trying to help him out right there. So, but Lyra ends up winning with, I think it's the wind clipper or the nightfall. I forget what exactly, but it's like basically it's a fireman's carry into a Falcon Arrow, and Lyra wins. It made sense because this was her first match on Raw. So now she advances in the tournament. I think she's facing Zoe Stark in the quarterfinals, and we Sky advanced, and she was going to face the winner of Zelina and Shayna Baszler, which we'll get to that later. They were going to have some of these matches took place on the house show. It kind of sucked because obviously, like some of these matches I really, really wanted to see. Like they announced that Kofi and Ray were going to face off, and I would have liked to see them do that on TV, but unfortunately they did it on the house show, which kind of sucked. It also kind of made it weird, but we'll get to that later. But overall, how did you feel about this match right here between? You didn't get to talk about the segment either, but how did you feel about the segment with Becky and then the match with Lyra and Dakota?
I thought the segment was good, and I thought the match itself was also pretty good too. I thought Lyra put on a good showing, and she obviously should have won. That made the most sense.
Yeah.
It didn't really make any sense for Dakota to win.
Especially because she was a replacement, pretty much. So.
Yeah.
No, it happened on. Oh, go ahead.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. What's the star rating? I gave it 3.25.
Yeah, 3.25 seems about right.
Now there was a bit earlier that happened in the show. I forgot to talk about it, so just talk about it now. And I didn't put it in my notes. I thought I did, but I must have got distracted doing something or whatever. But Chad Gable faced Bronson Reed on the show. This was kind of weird because they're both heels. And this kind of felt like GM mode, where like I didn't really know who to root for, just because Chad Gable just turned heel. Bronson Reed still is a heel, but Gable worked the match like a baby face. So it's as if his turn didn't even happen. So it was really awesome.
So it was very odd.
But it was good stuff though. Eventually Sammy ran in and he attacked both men, and it kind of led to a three-way brawl where Bronson Reed laid them both out. And afterwards, he walked backstage, and they did the good leaf in and like direct camera shot where he came up with Adam Pearce, and he basically tells Adam Pearce to fix this. I like this segment right here, though. I'll just talk about the song now. Later on, Sami Zayn did an interview backstage where he basically threw out the challenge where they were going to have a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. It was going to be Sammy, Bronson Reed, and Chad Gable, which makes sense because Sammy's going to be really over there because obviously, what of his history with Saudi Arabia and everything like that. Yeah, overall I liked the everything they did with the Intercontinental title. The Chad Gable Bronson Reed match was good. I'll give it like 3 stars. This is kind of like the third week in a row, I'm pretty sure, where like a match involving these three got interrupted. Because I'm pretty sure maybe 2 weeks, because last week Sammy and Bronson Reed's match got interrupted, and then this one got interrupted. So, I'm kind of a little sick of that happening. But overall, I like the fact that they're doing a triple threat match. I imagine Sammy will win, but he'll pin Bronson Reed or not Chad Gable, which can continue that storyline. And I don't mind Sammy getting beaten down here because like he was outnumbered. I say outnumbered, but no one. But I like that the heels weren't really like working together. It just kind of so happens that Sammy. I think they both hate Sammy so much that they're like, okay, let's lay him out first, and then we'll lay each other out. So it's kind of like they hate Sammy more than they hate them. They hate each other. I almost said themselves, but that would have been weird.
They hate themselves.
Yeah, but anyhow,
what'd
you think of the Intercontinental title, like little three-way storyline we had going on right there?
I thought it was nice continuous story build, but yeah, it needs to be. They need to stop interrupting the matches.
Yeah, if they do it this week, I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna blame you for this one. So, be your fault.
It's my fault.
Then we had Kofi Kingston do a promo backstage, and he talks about how he's in the King of the Ring tournament for Xavier Woods because he can't participate in it because he was taken out by Walter the week before this. And he talks about, how he has a tremendous amount of respect for Rey Mysterio. However, he has to put all that aside because he needs to push through. And he
should.
To beat Rey so he can potentially get into a match with Walter. I really like this promo, but it was just so odd because they were basically doing a promo for a match that I'm not going to see because it happened at a house show, so it was so odd. But whatever. What do you think of this? I thought it was a good promo, but it was just odd because it was building up a match I wasn't even going to see.
I thought it was a good promo, but yeah, like a match we're not going to see. It kind of sucks, but
yeah.
LNA put it this way. It made the house show feel important.
I agree. Yeah, that was good.
To get a match in there for for something that was important.
I kind of wish they would have like filmed it though, like and put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
or something.
That would have made sense. That would have made a lot if they did that.
Because I don't know.
We'll probably see highlights of it on Raw tonight, or SmackDown.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck would have. Yeah.
But overall, yeah. Then we had the main event. It was Sheamus versus Walter in the King of the Ring first round match. This was fantastic, as it always is. They did a really good job too, like showing like all the past matches they've had with each other. I forgot they had that match on SmackDown, like for the belt, like right before Extreme Rules. I thought they only had the one match with each other, like Clash at the Castle, but I forgot they had the,
I did too.
Yeah, but this was awesome. Sheamus put up a really good fight here. They both just clobbered the hell out of each other. I just really can't do justice for this match. Just like with this match and maybe the Ilya Ricochet match, I definitely recommend trying to sit down and watch those matches for yourself because you really can't do those matches justice. Eventually, Fabian Eichner. No, not Fabian Eichner. Marcel Bartel. Um, what am I gonna call?
No.
Do I gotta call my do I gotta call Marcel Bartel Fabian Eichner now because I made that mistake? Um,
Yes. No, you don't have to.
by the way, I know you haven't watched GMO back. You will be happy to know I almost made that mistake last week with Fabian Eichner. I almost called him the other name because my cousin doesn't know him as that name. So I'm like, yeah, yep. I almost did. Okay, I was mid speak of it. I got to the G and I was like, no, Fabian Eichner. I was like, oh my gosh, because you would have watched that. You would have watched that back and been like, did you? You forget something?
So, someone wants to say the name.
But anyhow, no. So Marcel Bartel took a cheap shot at Sheamus and took out his leg, which kind of affected Sheamus throughout the rest of the match and led to him being ejected. But I like that he wasn't mad that he was ejected because it seemed like that was part of the plan, which was good. And afterwards, Walter kind of worked on the leg for Sheamus throughout the rest of the match. Sheamus tried the best he could to fight back, but it just wasn't to be. And eventually, Walter put Sheamus into a half Boston Crab, and eventually Sheamus tapped out. And I like that he didn't tap out right away. Like, he actually tried to get to the ropes for, like, a good couple minutes, and then eventually he just realized, like, that there was just no hope, so he eventually just had to tap out. And Walter won this match. This was great. I gave it 4.5 stars. They both really took it to each other, and I don't think this is the best matches out of the three. I think the Clash of the Castle one's probably still the best one. This is probably, like, the second best. But this was still fantastic stuff. I really kind of hope they do like a nice storyline where maybe eventually Walter wins the world title and they do a match with him and Sheamus where like Walter kind of does a storyline where like anytime him and Sheamus get into the ring to each other, he can't beat him, and then maybe Sheamus gets a world title win out of that. That'd be awesome. But overall, what did you think of this match right here? I give it 4.5 stars.
4.5. Great match. Great main event. Loved it. They have excellent chemistry together. This is near the top for me in terms of like in their series of matches. This is near the top.
I feel like if this match wasn't interrupted by a commercial break, I think this match went through 2 commercial breaks, right? Because I remember they did their entrance, and then I think too it was kind of predictable Walter was going to win too because Kofi did that promo before the. I feel like Kofi shouldn't have done as good as Kofi's promo was. I feel like it shouldn't have happened because it kind of gave away that Walter was going to win this match. Because you saw like the next bracket was going to be like the winner of this was going to face the winner of Kofi and Ray, and you kind of knew Kofi was going to beat Ray because like there's a storyline going on with Walter and like the New Day at the moment. Because Walter took out Woods so that way you couldn't be in it. So it kind of made. I think Kofi's promo kind of made this match predictable, as good as it was. Do you agree, or do you think it was still unpredictable?
I mean, it didn't make it. I guess a little bit, but not like too crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see Kofi versus Gunther.
Yeah. Oh, and I also forgot, by the way, there was also a segment backstage. I think I meant to read it off, but I forgot. With Awesome Truth, they came up to Adam Pearce, and they had this. I think he's like a football player, like some type of soccer player, where he wanted. I think it was a basketball player actually. Like he wanted them to challenge Awesome Truth for the tag titles, but the Miz
it was Dan Hurley. He was the men's basketball coach for UConn, who just won the national championship, and they were in Connecticut, so it made sense.
But it was funny because like Truth didn't really get the fact that like that really just can't happen because obviously he's a basketball player. But honestly, in Truth's defense, like we see, Pat McAfee and Logan Paul have challenged for championships before. So honestly, Truth logic made all the sense in the world here. But whatever. I don't know what Truth was thinking though. Was he thinking the whole basketball team was going to challenge them for the tag belts? Because that'd be a little bit unfair. I don't know what his thought process was there.
Very.
And obviously, this is a nice storyline because the Miz is like, okay, we're gonna schedule the next tag title matches. Because like I think it was last week where like Truth went behind Miz's back and like scheduled a tag title match with Alpha Academy. So like that's kind of a storyline they're doing right now. But this led to like Braun Breaker talking to Adam Pearce because he was upset that he wasn't in the King of the Ring tournament. So then they kind of went and had like a private conversation with each other. So I liked how they kind of like slowly interweaving Braun Breaker into like the storylines and everything like that. Because now he's kind of like fully on the main roster now and everything like that. So, what do you think of that segment? Because that was a good segment.
I thought it was good. I thought it was very good. That was
Uh,
pretty funny.
and that was Raw. I thought Raw was a great show. It was a very wrestle heavy show, because of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments. I think Raw is going to be like that for at least a few weeks. Just because the King of the Ring tournament, the Queen of the Ring is going to take up a lot of the time. But I think they're setting up the King of the Ring and the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view card really well with the IC title match and the Women's World title match. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Damian Priest. I don't know if he's going to just do a rematch with Jay or if he's going to face Braun for the title. Obviously, that's still up in the air, but everything was really good on this show. I'm going to give it a B+. I just thought it was overall a great show.
I thought it was a fantastic show this week. That week it was very, very good. Looking forward to it tonight.
Yeah. Would you give it as like a nice little letter grade?
I give it I give it an A-. Nothing was really wrong with it. Wasn't a perfect show, but also I didn't really find anything that was overly wrong with it either.
Well, it's an A- compared to the NXT show we got the next night. Let's talk about that. NXT, by the way, no matter what they say, is not in a new era. It's the same freaking show we've seen since before WrestleMania. But let's over here sit down and like talk about it. NXT took place on May 7th, 2024. The commentary team was Booker T and Vic Joseph. I feel like they were better this week than they were most weeks. They didn't really annoy me. I think mainly because I was mostly getting annoyed with the booking on the show more than the commentary. So like I really wasn't paying attention to the commentary because the booking was just bad on this show. So maybe that's what it had to do with anything. So overall, what did you think of the commentary this week? Because it didn't really annoy me. I think the booking was just annoying me more than the commentary.
Yeah, I mean the booking always annoys me.
We'll get to that. Well, yeah, let's just start talking about it. So Wesley has a video package, kind of hyping up his return and everything like that. It was a very good video package. And you saw that he was like watching it backstage, which was really cool. And they did the whole like takeover method where like, he did they showed him backstage and then he did his entrance. And he came out to face Josh Briggs. And I asked this in the chat. When the hell did Josh Briggs turn heel? Because he's been acting very heelish lately. He didn't have a turn, though. Like, he just randomly came out and was just a heel one day. I don't know what happened. Like, he's just randomly a heel now. I don't get it. Was it like a moment that he turned and I just missed it or something? Because he's been acting very heelish.
I have no idea. Sean just went up to a backstage and, hey, pal, you're a heel now.
Because, we're gonna get to the... most of the women at least have turns. The Josh Briggs just came out and he was a heel one day. Like, what happened?
I'm heel man.
Yeah. Although this match was very good. The styles really meshed really well with each other. I hate to say it, I like Josh Briggs, but I think Wesley kind of carried this match a lot just because, he's very good at taking bumps and everything like that. It just kind of felt like Wesley was kind of the veteran in the match and everything like that. And Wesley won, which absolutely should have happened. It was return and everything like that. I think he won with the spiral tap. I don't think that's what it's called, but that's pretty much what he used. And then afterwards, doing this, there was commotion because somebody came out and did like commentary for the match. I don't even remember who it was. It was Ivar. Ivar came out and do commentary. I remember what happened now. So Ivar came out and did commentary, and at one point Josh Briggs gets thrown into Ivar. And then like they kind of go at it, and then afterwards, after Wesley like beats Josh Briggs and everything, like they still go at it, which didn't really make sense because Josh Briggs pretty much no-sold the spiral tap. Like it was like immediately he just went out and started brawling with Ivar. That was just really annoying. And then afterwards, like Wesley dived on him, and Alba Femi was watching from like the Perth that like Elias got thrown off of, like in the early days of the pandemic shows. I don't remember what it's called, but that's what he was watching. I really liked all this stuff right here. I kind of hope this leads to Wesley getting the title shot. I wouldn't complain if they did a multi-man match, but I feel like we just kind of did one already. And plus, we're already getting a multi-person match with the ladder match at, for the women's North American title, so I don't think we need another one. But you know, I kind of hope it just leads to Wesley getting the title shot. But you know, maybe they don't want to have Wesley face Obafemi right now, just because you know he's still kind of coming back from his injury, and you know, Obafemi just kind of hurt somebody recently, so you know maybe he should kind of save that. But we have to wait and see what happens. But overall, I really like this stuff. I thought this made Wesley look like $1,000,000. What'd you think of this?
I thought it made Wesley look like $1,000,000 too. I thought Wesley was great first match back. Happy to see him back. Um, yeah, it was a really good opener.
Yeah. And then all the tag teams were backstage. They were Tyreek Equi and Tyson DuPont were kind of talking to Axiom and Nathan Fraser, like congratulating them on the title defense. And it kind of led to Norcourt Catchcrew and them getting into it, and it led to a match between them later on. And then when they walked away, the Good Brothers came up to them. And they were just like, wow, that's not a good way to treat like a long-standing NXT tag team. And I kind of think it's funny because the Good Brothers they never even been in NXT before this. So I think it's funny that that's their gimmick now, pretty much. And, you know, they tried to too sweet Nathan Fraser and Axiom, but they basically walk away from it. And the Good Brothers just thought that wasn't too sweet. That's not good. That's not how you be a good brother. And I completely agree with them. Although I like this, I kind of hope this leads to the Good Brothers winning the tag belts because that's really where we should be at right now. Especially, too, because I don't think they're doing a lot of traveling right now since, you know, Gallows just had a kid and Anderson still kind of just had a kid recently. So it kind of makes sense for them to win the tag belts because they can stay in one area for a while, other than, like, the PLEs and stuff. But overall, I really like this stuff. What do you think of this stuff? This was good.
It was good. I love Gallows and Anderson, so anything to do is I like it.
And then next we had Shayna Baszler versus Carmen Petrovic. This was good stuff. Shayna Baszler essentially destroyed Carmen Petrovic here. She like took her arm and like slingshotted it in underneath the support beams of the ring, and eventually she made a tap out to the Karafuda clutch. And that was kind of it. It kind of seemed like they're continuing this feud between Natalia and Lola Vice, which kind of doesn't really make sense. It kind of felt like the fight pit should have been, not the fight pit, NXT Underground should have been it. But you know Shawn Michaels, he likes to continue feuds longer than they're supposed to happen. So that's just kind of what you kind of have to expect. At least this isn't a bad feud, you know, so that's good. I imagine some type of tag match or something's going to happen at Battleground, maybe something UFC type of style since, you know, it's going to take place at the UFC complex, and those four can really do that style really well. So we'll be kind of interested to see what happens. But overall, I like this for the most part. What do you think of this?
I thought it was good. I liked it.
Then the show goes downhill for like a while. I think it goes downhill
Not
until
a surprise. Pitfalls. And it's not even like pitfalls. It's like it falls goes down for a very long time and just doesn't come back.
Well, it does come back at one point, but then it goes back down again. So then Kalani Jordan's backstage, and she doesn't really understand, you know, why Fallon Henley turned heel. She talked about like how the Fallon Henley that she saw wasn't the Fallon Henley that she got to know, and then she talked about like, you know, they did combine, you know, to see who was going to get like qualifying matches for you know, the Women's North American Championship. And she said that, you know, if she had really wanted to, she could have punched Fallon Henley in the face, which when you see Combine, there was never really a moment that was going to happen. So that doesn't really make sense that she would even say that. And then, we're going to get to that later. That's a beast to talk about. And then Fallon Henley comes up and then talks about how, like, you know, Kalani Jordan didn't punch her in the face because she doesn't have, like, you know, the backbone to do it. And she talks about how the whole reason she's a heel now is because she's done helping out her friends, because that got her nowhere. And she said that she's going to start to focus on herself, and this leads to a big shoving and shouting match and everything like that. This was just terrible. They went the most generic reason possible to turn Fallon Henley heel, and Fallon Henley shouldn't even be a heel. You know, we're sitting here. Chris and I have sat here for like weeks. And Steve and I talked about it last week. NXT legitimately has no baby faces. And how do they respond to that? Well, they just turn Fallon Henley babyface. That could have been a great babyface opponent to face Roxanne Perez that they can't do now because they decided to be stupid and turn Fallon Henley heel. No build up to it either or anything like that. She just turned heel last week for no reason. This was just terrible. And Fallon Henley's going to be terrible now because she's going to be a generic heel now. So what do you think of this? This is awful.
Just terrible. I thought it was terrible to begin with, and I even posted that it was terrible. I just don't think Shawn Michaels knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's just trying to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's fucking nothing sticks. So he has to pick the shit back up and put it on the wall and smear it on the wall. And it's like, it is the worst of the fucking worst.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing about
I can't even believe it, like, half the time.
The worst thing about it, though, is like, Fallon Henley was actually doing really well as a babyface. Like, she was getting over and everything like that. Like you said, you're trying to see what sticks. That was sticking. Fallon Henley is a babyface, and now it doesn't stick anymore because he decided to randomly turn a heel for no reason. Like, what the hell are you doing?
It made no sense.
And then I think I posted this in the chat too. It felt like he lost Blair Davenport because she went to SmackDown, so he felt like he needed another heel. So he turned Fallon heel to kind of fill Blair Davenport's role. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like,
I don't even think he knows what he's doing.
Oh, then it gets worse. The NXT Combine thing was the worst thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Well, maybe not the worst because that covers a lot of ground. We had like a Pujami Prison match at Battleground 2017. You know, a lot of Bray Wyatt stuff in 2017 was really bad. So maybe not the worst thing that ever happened. Okay, so I was actually kind of interested in NXT Combine because you know, I was like, okay, this is something different. And they're doing a battle royal to decide qualifying matches. This is gonna be something different, and it sucked. All it was them just training at the performance center with Ava with a clipboard, just judging who did well, and they had to do all these obstacle courses, and that doesn't sound bad, but they pre-taped them, and they like just aired them and like did it really lazily like throughout the show. Like they had I think Alicia Taylor or not Kalani Jordan, but the Kelly Kincaid like did like voiceover, and they just basically like said this person did really well doing this, but then we wouldn't even see them do the task that they're doing. It's like okay, and it was also really late. It was also really lazy too, because like the people that like qualified for the contendership in the tournament later on were like the only people we even saw do the training. So how do we even know? So obviously we're gonna think they do well because they're the only people we even saw do the training. We didn't see anybody we didn't see any of the performance center recruits. It was just so stupid. Why did Mia Yim have to do this? Why did Mia Yim have to do this? That didn't even make any sense. Shouldn't she already qualify? Like that didn't even. Why didn't Shayna get a chance? She just won tonight. I didn't see Lola doing this. And she. It also doesn't make any sense. It also makes the wins and losses not mean anything. So like you could have been on a losing streak, but if you did well in this, you get a title match. It doesn't even make any sense. That's stupid. Like. I mean, example, like say imagine Triple H did this with the men's championship a few years ago, and he had like Kona Reeves be a part of it, who like never won. That's stupid. That's really this was so lazily stupid, and it just sucked. Like it was so formulaic, and it never got better. And then I don't even understand how this happened. Kalani Jordan that was said was like ranked number 1 doing like her match with Fallon Henley, but somehow she was at like the bottom rankings when like the rankings came out. Like how did that even happen? That Shawn just like decided, hey, you're going to the bottom now. Like what the hell was that? Like, oh, this combine was awful. I can't even like none of it made sense, and I just even though a battle royal was like lazy, there's a reason why you don't try to do new shit because Shawn Michaels just can't do anything new. He doesn't. He's just terrible. What do you think of this combine? That it was awful.
I thought it was pretty fucking terrible. It was a big fucking disappointment. Big disappointment.
Yeah.
But that's WWE. That's NXT for you. Everything they do is a massive disappointment.
Yeah. I would have just preferred a battle royal. Like, what was that?
That would have been a lot better than the shit they put on TV.
The funny thing is, the people that even qualified, most of them that aren't even gonna make it to the freaking match at Battleground. Like, what the hell was that? Like, but while I'm here, I'll just say who qualified. because I forgot to write them down. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I'll just say that real quick. Okay, the qualifying matches. Um, uh, where are they? Okay, the matches. Um, okay, so the top 12 from the combine in order were Sal Ruka, Thea Hale, Jada Parker, Brindley Reese, who hasn't been winning. She's not won one match. She's been in NXT, and somehow she's qualifying for this. She hasn't won one match in NXT, but she did really well in the combine, and that's stupid.
That's all that matters, apparently.
Michin, Mia Yim, Fallon Henley, Last Legend, who hasn't won one match since she's been in NXT. Ivy Nile, who hasn't been in NXT in months, and somehow qualified for this. Izzy Dame, Kalani Jordan, Tatum Paxi, and Wen Sinclair. By the way, Wen Sinclair hasn't won one match in NXT. So that's why this combine thing was stupid, because apparently that just shows wins and losses don't matter. What the hell was that? But whatever. This combine thing was awful, and they kept coming back to it throughout the show. It's just stop. It failed. Just admit it failed, and that's enough. Then it gets worse. Then we have No Quarter Catch Crew versus Tyreek Equi and Tyson DuPont. So apparently we found out the referee went missing during the he just wasn't there. Well, Shannon Stacks Lorenzo ended up being the special guest referee. And you knew where this was going. He basically screwed over Charlie Dempsey and was it Charlie Dempsey and what's the other guy's name? What the hell? I don't even remember these names right now. It's Charlie who's in No Quarter Catch. It's Charlie Dempsey, Damon Kemp, and
Miles Bourne.
Yeah, that's whose name I forgot. I think it was Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey that were in it, and they did a lame fast count. This was just awful. And I even said this in the chat. I don't think No Quarter Catch Crew is being booked terribly because of what happened with Drew Gulak. I think Deshaun just can't book. I feel like this was gonna happen even if Drew Gulak was in the group to begin with. This was awful. Why are you Quarter Catch Crew losing? The family's gimmick is just one dry at this point. I feel like Sean they should have been drafted, honestly, because there's legit nothing left for them to do in NXT. This is terrible. What do you think of this? This is awful.
It's just not good. They've completely murdered the no Quarter Catch Crew, and not even because of Drulak being a dick. It's just I just don't think Sean knows how to book.
Yeah.
Again, I said this 1,000 times. I do not think Shawn Michaels knows how to book at all. Not even for a second. It's getting fucking pathetic at this point. Why is the family still they're so irrelevant? They're not interesting. Charlie Dempsey shouldn't be fucking losing all the time.
Yeah.
What is the point?
I feel like he's losing
Charlie was a big name, and now it's he just doesn't feel special. Because they're fucking young.
Then we have Adriana Grace, Chelsea Green, and Gigi Dolan backstage. Grace and Green have a funny little back and forth where we just annoyed Gigi Dolan the whole time. I guess that was funny. And then Gigi Dolan says, "Okay, I've had enough of this," but then nothing happened with him. You would have thought something would happen the next segment, but that didn't happen. But this was funny, I guess. But I was still kind of annoyed about the last 3 segments that happened, so I wasn't into this. What'd you think of this?
I didn't care about it.
Then Roxanne Perez has a bad heel interview. It was just terrible. What'd you think of that? That was awful.
It just gets worse every week. And anyone who says that she has been a good heel is just lying to themselves at this point.
Yeah. Mia Yim beat Adriana Grace. That's good. Good for Mia Yim. But the life had been sucked out of me with how bad the show had been by then. And plus, this match really wasn't all that good. It wasn't Mia Yim's fault. It was kind of Grace's fault.
Just bad.
Yeah. Thea Hale and Ridge Holland had a segment backstage where Ridge Holland, it seemed was hitting on her. It was kind of awkward because dude's married, and Then he's like saying like, "You remind me a lot of my daughter." It's like, that okay, we're getting kind of awkward here now. And then like Lexus Kin came up and like, just it led to like two cuts and having a match with them. The segment was just kind of uncomfortable and just weird. What do you think of this?
Just odd.
Um,
Just a really weird segment.
Then we had a segment that was like disappointing, but then turned awesome. This was probably the best thing of the whole show, and I really wish this like they had just kept this going. It was the Supernova sessions with Trick Williams. This was like this was insanely kind of awesome. So yeah, Trick Williams comes out and they show it like a nice little video package of you know his like rise in NXT and everything. Pretty much not a long video package, but I was there and saw it, so we don't need a long one. And Metaphor point out that there's been fraud though with his rise to the top because he points out that when they faced off like a month ago, that Noam Dar's foot was actually underneath the rope. So basically, his rise to the top was all fraud. Originally, I was disappointed by this segment because like they were hyping up what was in the envelope, and when it was just that, I was like, okay, this is disappointing. But then the segment gets like really awesome out of nowhere. Trick Williams is like, okay, that's not what he like realizes pretty much that that's not what they're trying to get at here. And then he kind of tells Lash like, I just got to explain what's going on right here. And doing this, Lash lets it slip and calls Trick Williams Babe by mistake. And the Jakara Jackson, Orm Mensa, and Noam Dar was like, wait, what did you just say? He's like, no, Trick, I meant Trick. And Trick was just kind of like laughing about the fact that like he's like letting it slip. She like let it slip by mistake. And all of a sudden, like, everything just got awesome. I can't even explain it. And then it led to Noam Dar like knocking him out like right afterwards. But this segment like went to an awesome place that I like can't even explain. It got so awesome. It's just so you can't even explain it. Like it was great. It was wicked fun. It was so hilarious too. The Last Legend and like Trick Williams were really great in this segment. What do you think of this? I actually really liked this segment. It was really funny to watch.
I think the segment was really good. They've kind of been touching on their relationship for the past like little while now. I think it's going to lead to her like managing Trick. I think.
Yeah.
Or attacking with him, and then becoming like a mix. And then because I feel like Noam Dar is kind of going to be like maybe the next added challenge Trick for the title.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's going to be a way for like Lash to kind of turn face and then side with her actual real life boyfriend Trick Williams. And yeah, it's. I think it's gonna get more interesting. I think.
Yeah. Then we had Stormin that happened, showing that Wendy Chu's coming back because that's a gimmick. So who else would it be? Unless that's Sean. He just fell asleep while he was booking the show. That wouldn't make sense. But...
No, that was definitely Sean.
Who do you want it to be, Sean or Wendy Chu?
Oh, it's going to be Sean.
Then Natalia and Carmen Petrovic are backstage, and like Carmen Petrovic like wicked upset that like nothing's going away, and Natalia says that she needs to start to show like more an aggressive attitude. And like one person comes by and like congratulates her, and she's like, "Thank you." And then like another person, I don't know if you met, because he shows up in Next Gen. He's like one of the main showcases there. I think it's Sexy BJ Ray. I don't know what his actual name is, but he comes up and like hits on Carmen Petrovic and he gets kicked in the face. And it's really funny because now that like Next Gen's aired, we're starting to kind of slowly, well, sort of slowly, see like the ones that like made it to the WWE, which not really because most of them just got released anyway. So it's kind of like they kind of toughed enough that like very heavily. But yeah, overall, that was like that segment was kind of funny. What do you think of that? That was a pretty funny segment right there.
Yeah, he got his head kicked in.
Yeah,
he's a loser.
Yeah. I wonder if this was punishment because earlier he did like an Instagram like video where he stole a golf cart. So I wondered if that was punishment for stealing the golf cart right there. Then we had Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. Technically a good match, but I just didn't care about it because the storyline wasn't good. And of course, Fallon Henley won because she like exposed the buckle and you saw where that was going. So yeah, it's just yeah. They tried to do like this whole thing too, like where they try to make it seem like Fallon Henley was sorry, but you knew where that was going. So it's like, yep, we know this is just how it is now. So what do you think of this?
Terrible. Yeah, I just don't fucking care about Fallon Henley being a heel. Cut and dry, copy paste. It's just bad.
Yeah,
Anything that Sean touches turns to shit. It's just really, really bad.
yeah.
Just really, really bad.
The no quarter catch crew backstage, and they challenge. Well, they accept actually Tony D's challenge to defend the cup against them, but they think they have the upper hand because they have the no quarter catch rules. Well, that gets taken care of in a bad way later in the show. So this is a good promo. It's just no quarter catch crew has just lost a lot of steam. I couldn't really take
They
this
don't have any
seriously,
core. That's why.
which is a good thing for you. Um,
Maybe if they had some quarters, they'd be able to do something.
no, Sean would take those quarters and be like, nope, no more quarters. Um,
None.
Ava gets interviewed, and this is where she announced all the competitors that are going to be in the qualifying matches. So at least that will be good for a few weeks, I guess. Ava's interview really wasn't
Yeah,
all
they'll
that
find
good
a way to
though.
fuck it up.
Yeah, Ava's interview really wasn't that good though. It was very scripted. What do you think of that?
Ah, mediocre.
Then Lexis Kin faced Duke Hudson in a good match. Um, During the match, like Lexis Kin, I think was like being really rude to Thea Hale, and it led to like Ridge Holland coming out, and he tried to charge the win with the steel chair, and this led to a distraction where it caused Lexis Kin to win. Um, Good stuff. It kind of sucks because Lexis Kin just beat Baron Corbin like the previous week, and they're not really capitalizing like they should be. It kind of feels like Lexis Kin's very irrelevant at this point. But at least he's starting to get some wins, and I just don't really think the wins are going to do much for him. I think like it's just going to lead to him losing to Rich Holland for no reason, like with Sean Spears. What do you think of this?
I thought the match was good. I thought but I just feel like the Ridge Holland fucking shit just doesn't make any sense.
I know, yeah,
Like what? Like it's like almost like they have nothing for him. It's like, hey, we're gonna put you in this random fucking angle that makes no sense whatsoever, and you're gonna be randomly with Thea Hale.
yeah.
But don't worry though, you're gonna turn on him.
Someone's turn on somebody. Um,
Oh,
Metaphor
it's
gets
gonna be Ridge Holland turning on them.
yeah.
100%.
Then
It's already been telegraphed.
yeah. Then Metaphor gets interviewed. Good interview by Metaphor. They were like, all disturbed, and Noam Dar was like bragging about the fact that like he knocked out Trick Williams with one punch. Um, and Last Legend wasn't with them, and they asked why that was the case, but they kind of like didn't really answer that question. They kind of like danced around it. Not literally, just like just kind of like shut the interviewer down and everything.
Fuck, that'd have been more entertaining.
But then Javon Evans like kind of has like a little bit of like a back and forth with Noam Dar, and they're having a match tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to that match. I think that would be really good. I really like this segment right here. You know, I, it kind of sucks that John Von Evans isn't going to win that match, but he'll have I think he's going to have a really good showing in that match, though. So what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think Javon Evans is insanely talented, and I think that match is going to be really, really good next week or this week, upcoming tomorrow.
I'll continue.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Then Jasmine Nick did a bad promo, like talking about how Thea Hale broke what JC Jane's nose. It was really bad.
Yeah, that Jasmine Nix is awful. If she's, I'll never forget this. When JC Jane was doing her promo a few weeks ago, and Jasmine Nix was just standing there looking really awkward. I was like dying laughing. I'm like, she looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, what was the point of her even being there? She just kept making faces and like trying. I was like this. I was like, she looks terrified. It was really bad, and she's just awful.
Yeah.
She's just hot. Like, there's no like fucking talent there.
Then Chase Hughes backstage. Will Holland apologizes for like costing Duke Hudson the match, They accept his apology, but then Riley Osborne points out the fact that like he still cost them the match, and they're like, one step at a time. Not in Shawn Michaels
One step at a
NXT.
time.
Not
We'll
in
get
Shawn
the
Michaels.
shit that we want.
Not in Shawn Michaels NXT. There was no one steps at a time. It's like 4 steps at a time.
4 steps at a time, and then 85 back.
What'd you think of that? That was like this was just this was just okay. It's just awkward.
It's okay.
I forgot to
Just
write it.
okay.
I forgot to write it down, but
Casual.
Chelsea Green did an interview earlier in the show where she talked about how like she's happy management treating her better like there, and she mentioned like she looks forward to winning the NXT Women's Championship, and then like Mr. Stone was there because there's like reports that they want to put them back together. I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see. I mean, I like that. I like Chelsea Green's like a little interview that she had, and I like seeing. I always like seeing Mr. Stone. What do you think of that?
Yeah. It's interesting to see where that's gonna go.
Then we had the NXT Women's Championship match. It was Roxanne Perez defending against Chelsea Green. Um, the match was technically good, but again, GM mode happened all over again, where like we didn't really know who to root for. Um, and yeah, I mean the fans did, sort of, but it's the PC that doesn't really mean anything. Um, Roxanne Perez
Don't
won.
cheer for literally any.
Yeah, Roxanne Perez won with the pop walks, and then like nothing happened. There was no opponent set up for her at Battleground. Just nothing. Just nothing. Um, this match was like if we did Star Reigns, this was like a 2-star match. This match would be better. I don't know if someone would. I think I mentioned this. If someone didn't go heel, this match would be 100% better.
Oh, wait, yeah, way better.
Anything you want to say? Anything else you want to say?
No, I don't because the show sucks.
Oh no, there's more. One more segment. The family kidnapped Miles Bourne and Damon Kemp. No, because now they can't use the no
Great.
photo catch rules. And like the show ended with Charlie Dempsey walking out of the PC like looking for them. What a way to make Charlie Dempsey look stupid. So, what a weird ending to the
Wonderful.
show too.
Even better.
This show is the show's a D minus. The only thing that's saving it from an F was the Trick Williams, Nova Lola Sessions, whatever that is, and the Wesley match on the show. And the Shayna Baszler match. Everything else was like garbage on this show, or like just so mediocre. What would you grade this show? The show's a definite D minus.
I give it a D minus. The thing that was saving it was the Trick Williams segment. This is fucking the Trick Williams segment and the opening match with Wesley and Josh Briggs. And once again, Mr. 8 o'clock, Wesley, back in his rightful time slot because it's the best part of the fucking show every week. And not in a bad way either. I think he's a tremendous talent, and it's a great way to kick off the show every week. I think Finn Balor handed that fucking moniker down to him. Because it's genuinely the best part of the show every week when he was on. His matches were always kick ass. But other than those two things, this show was fucking garbage once again. And I'm not fucking surprised. I'm not surprised. Look who's running it. He's an idiot. He's a literal fucking moron. I like Shawn Michaels, great wrestler, Hall of Famer, terrible booker.
Yeah.
Terrible. It's just it's shocking how it went from like summertime into springtime of last year, it was fucking horrendous. And then in the fall it got so much better. It was actually good. And then at the beginning of this year, it went boom, right down. It's like if you're on a roller coaster with a fucking big hill and there's no brakes on it, fucking straight down. Not even like a ledge, not even like Superman at Six Flags, where there's a little hangover. No, it's boom up and then straight fucking down. It had its peak and it went straight fucking down 300 miles an hour. No brakes. It's like, and now it's like we're at the point again where we were at with fucking in the era with Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen and Kiana James and Fallon Henley, like in that time frame. It was back to that again.
Yeah.
There's no consistency. The show is fucking terrible. Week in and week out. People say, oh, it's developmental. Well, no one's developing. No one is developing.
Oh, they develop. The second they go to the main roster, they'll like book instantly better.
It's just pathetic at this
Yeah.
point. I thought it's supposed to be, and people are saying like, oh, the women's division NXT is great. I'm like, do you watch the fucking show? Do you? Or are you too busy looking at their asses to fucking watch the show?
Oh,
Watch
terrible.
it because it's fucking garbage week in and week out. The women's division is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful. There are talented people on the roster at the top. It's like 3 people or 4 people, and it fucking falls off a cliff.
The show sucks.
It's awful. It's a terrible fucking show, week in and week out. But for some reason, people are watching it with rose-colored glasses and saying, Sean's a great booker, Sean's a great booker. They're not watching the fucking show like I am. I'm shutting it off at fucking 9 o'clock because I don't want to watch it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I watch an hour of the fucking show and then I turn it off like I do with AEW because it's so fucking stupid.
Hey, you know what?
It's fucking terrible.
You know what the good news is about NXT though is that not a lot of people can call you a WWE mock now because you actually complain about something WWE related, and that's NXT every week. So
every fucking week I say something negative about NXT. You know why? Because there's barely any positives.
If you had to pick,
watching it like fucking pulling teeth. It's like watching paint dry.
If you had to pick,
fucking, it's not boring. I will say, it's not boring. It's just terrible.
If you had to say which one's worse, AEW or NXT, I'm putting you on the spot right here.
I don't know. I mean, they're very close.
If you had to pick one, though,
AEW, I don't care anything on that product. At least with NXT, like I said, I care about Wesley. That's one more thing that I care about. Trick Williams, love Trick Williams. That's 2 more things I care about than AEW.
That's true.
It's Chase U. I care very much for Chase U. That's 3 things I care about more than crappy AEW. But at the same time, it's like for the 3 things that I like, there's like 95 things that I hate on the show.
I mean, how many segments did I break down before we got to that like Trick Williams segment when like a good thing happened again? It was like what 5 segments in a row that were like bad.
At minimum, at least. It's brutal to get through this fucking show every week.
I was feeling it last week too. Like I was tired anyways last week, but last week NXT felt like the old 3-hour Raw Vince era days where it'd be like sure to get through. Like that's how bad that show was last week.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
And like again, it's developmental. But like I said, no one's developing.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck this show's going to do on the CW. I really don't know.
I guarantee you the only reason the CW picked them up too was because if you think about it, it was right when they improved in the fall. Like, and now it like
yes,
it seems like ever since
the fall they were great.
Yeah, it seems like ever since they signed that TV deal, they like went downhill again.
It's a completely different audience.
Yeah,
you're not getting the USA Network fans that are watching Monday Night Raw and go, "Oh, NXT's on the next day." You're getting a totally different group of people.
I don't understand what they're gonna do.
Because it's literally terrible.
Yeah,
it's literally a brutal product to watch.
I guarantee you they're gonna have to like.
Booker has no clue what he's doing.
Yeah, I would like to see this NXT go up against this versions of AEW though. Bring the Tuesday Night Wars in. I want to see how that would do, ratings wise and like show.
I honestly, I honestly, no one would watch either show because it's terrible.
Yeah,
it is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying it to be negative. I literally hate watching NXT every week because it's always like. And I don't want to be negative. I hate being this negative about the show. But fucking produce a better show.
Really.
Make me care. Make me care about this women's division. Make me care about anything but Trick Williams and Wesley and Chase U. Make me
I'll,
care about other people in the show, and they don't.
I'll throw another name in there. I care about Obafemi too. He's great.
Obafemi too. Yeah, that's another one. I cared about Roxanne Perez. I cared about Cora Jade. You know what happened? He fucking buried them.
Yeah, he did. Now he's doing the
He
same
didn't
thing.
just bury them. He threw them in the fucking ground in a 50-foot hole and put all dirt on them.
Oh,
Here you go. Here's
that-
fucking dirt. Here, nice compacted down too. Here's some cement on top of that too, because you're fucking dead.
Fallon Henley's joining that list, by the way. I want you to know that. She's gonna go right in that grave with him.
It's so frustrating
Yeah.
watching this show every week and seeing Roxanne Perez be this phenomenal babyface, and then week by week by week by week, Sean did everything in his power to make sure to beat her fucking down.
To the point he had no choice.
First of all,
to the point he had no point. To the point he had no choice but to turn her heel because that was the only thing that was gonna save her.
it made no sense for her to turn heel in the first place, and it made no sense for them to fucking play up a storyline where she had anxiety and then never followed up on it.
Yeah.
So my thought process is they fit the fucking anxiety storyline just so they can get her sympathy when she didn't need it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get to the rest of the shows. Probably should have done NXT last, but whatever. We have the bump, which took place on May 8th, 2024. The host was Megan Morant, Sam Roberts, and Ryan Popola. They did like an intro. They did like a funny intro where Megan Morant was talking to Selena Vega, and she mentioned she watched all this anime, and the running joke was she would keep getting the name of the anime one. Like she called like Naruto and Death Note like different names, which was pretty funny. And then they had Selena Vega get interviewed. And she talked about like winning the first ever Queen of the Wind tournament. She talked about like everybody turning on Rey Mysterio and like more specifically Carlito and everything like that. And she talked about like her wrestling career. What was annoying is she kept waking in and out of her Queen like voice that she did, and I hated that voice when she did it at the time. So I was really glad.
Bad.
Yeah, I was like, please don't win the tournament. Yeah, and it was yeah. I'm glad. I mean, I'm not glad she got injured, but I'm glad she got pulled from the tournament because that kept her from winning it. And then Bobby Lashley got interviewed, and he talked about like his the Pride's performance at WrestleMania. He talked about the Street Profits performance in the tag title match because that had just happened recently. He was on to kind of promote the military stuff. I don't exactly know what specifically about it, but that seems like to be the only reason they put him on is anytime they want to talk about the military, they just put on Bobby Lashley, which is just so okay.
Yeah, because he was in the military.
I know, but put him on for other reasons. That's the only reason they ever put him on the bump. Like,
I know, yeah, it really is. And it wouldn't matter anyways because he got pulled.
That's the thing that's funny about everyone they brought on to be interviewed for the tournament. They both got like Bobby Lashley was pulled, and then Selena just got pulled. So that's pretty funny. Like and then yeah, Bobby Lashley like went off because like he's starting up his feud with Carmelo Hayes pretty soon. That's probably not going to happen now. So, because then a day later we found out that Bobby Lashley got pulled because he was supposed to face Tama Tonga. I don't know if he actually. I can believe Zelina's injured because I don't really see a reason to have to protect Selena from Shayna because I don't think she might have beaten Shayna. I'm not sure though. But I feel like they probably because it's really weird that because they mentioned that Bobby Lashley got injured like while he was training, which could be real, but it did kind of feel like they didn't want to have him take a loss to Tama right away.
Yeah.
So it feels like they
it also could be real, but at the time, like you said, like it kind of seems like that they just wanted to protect Bobby.
Yeah. And then Kevin Owens came on and got interviewed, and he talked about like basically everything that's going on with the bloodline, how he's just kind of sick of dealing with them because he's been dealing with them like in every iteration pretty much, which is very true. And then like he talked about how it was his birthday recently and like his wrestling anniversary. Like they both matched up together. I think he said it was like I don't think it's his 20 year, but it was like maybe 25. It was like a significant wrestling anniversary that he just had recently.
For Sammy?
No, Kevin. Because he said like
theirs isn't too far apart. They're
well, he mentions like his birthday and his wrestling
24.
anniversary. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it wasn't.
It's May 7th, 2000 is when he debuted.
Yeah. So they celebrate, but they said they didn't really like celebrate. He said he didn't really celebrate it because he just doesn't believe in like celebrating that stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, so he was happy because he was home this time.
His birthday and his debut were the same day. Were the same day.
Yeah. He said he was kind of happy just being home with his family because he's never really home to celebrate his birthday. So that's kind of like how he celebrated like his birthday, was just being with his family and everything like that. So, um, Kevin Owen might be taking some time off because he was on SmackDown this week, and it seems like they kind of wrote him off a little bit because he wasn't on SmackDown this week. So I could see Kevin Owens not being around, not for like a long amount of time, but I could see him like maybe skipping out like this month programming for a little bit. Like he'll probably
for a few weeks.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, I think he wants to take a break because
he earned the time off.
Yeah, he definitely has. Overall, we had a good episode of the bump. I'm going to give it a B minus. This bump ended up being kind of pointless to watch because both the people they brought on to interview for the tournament got pulled from the tournament like right after the episode aired, pretty much, which is kind of funny. But yeah, then that leaves us for I'll cover Level Up, and then you can just cover SmackDown since I'm here.
Yeah.
Level Up took place on May 10th, the same day as SmackDown. We had Blake Howard and Vic Joseph on commentary for the show. Wen Sinclair faced Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu made a return. It's a good match. Wendy Chu won with the snooze button. So that's good. Good job. And then Cutler James got interviewed, and he talked about how he's basically ready to break out in WWE. He's one of the people that showed up on Next Gen and everything like that. He's the guy I told you about that had the match with Tyler Bate like at the end of the season finale and everything like that. He faced Josh Briggs on this show, which is kind of funny. So that means Josh Briggs fought either he fought twice. Or I don't know exactly when this Level Up was taped because they still had the set up from Spring Break-In. So I don't know if it was just taped then and they just aired it then. I'm not really sure what happened.
They could have taped it then.
Yeah, but Josh Briggs won. Cutler James looked pretty good in this match. He does have like a wrestling amateur background, so he was able to kind of hold his own against Josh Briggs, but he didn't win because he just wasn't allowed to. So it's not allowed. And then the main event was Luca Crucifino and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo versus Dante Chen and Dion Lennox. I think you know what happened in this match.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Luca Crucifino and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo won. And yeah, that was it. It was a good match, though. It's just, anytime I see Dante Chen, I'm just like, yeah, you're not winning. I think he's stuck on Level Up for the rest of his career. I don't think he's ever going to the main roster. He's going to be the new Boa of NXT now, I think. Where, like, he just stuck.
They should just Boa him.
I mean, they
released him.
They pretty much almost did because he was supposed to be with a tag team with Boa, but then Boa got released, so it's not going to happen now. So, yeah, that's Level Up. Overall, it was a good episode. I thought we had some good matches on it, so I'll give it like a B minus. But like, yeah, Dante Chen
just advertised Wendy Chu for her return, and they just went fuck it, put her on Level Up.
That feels like a Shawn Michaels move right there. Like,
it's so terrible.
That would be like advertising Cody's return, and then just decided, hey, throw him on the house show circuit real quick. Like last year, whatever. Just throw him on the house show circuit real quick.
No, it would be like CM Punk comes back, and his first show is main event.
That's yeah. Throw him on main event real quick.
Just throw him on main event real quick.
But anyhow, you want to take
terrible idea.
I mean, it's Shawn Michaels. What do you expect?
He's pretty terrible.
You want to take us to SmackDown?
Yes. So SmackDown happened on May 10th, 2024, and it was the other half of the bracket in the opening round matches for the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Like we said earlier, none of the two matches mattered because a lot of changes happened in this King and Queen of the Ring tournament. A lot of people were advertised who didn't end up competing. Just insane. Like there's been a lot of changes, a lot of injuries or fake injuries, and people just getting taken out left and right. But the show opens up with a recap of Backlash, and Nick Aldis comes to the ring, and he brings out Cody because Cody needs a challenger. And who is going to be his challenger? None other than Logan Paul, which is interesting.
Yeah, very
This
interesting.
is the second time. I was gonna say the first time. His first WWE Championship opportunity in his WWE career. He had a Universal WWE Championship match at Saudi last year. Um, but yeah, they Logan Paul is going to be his challenger. Um, it's going to be interesting because I don't know if they're going to do it title versus title because that wouldn't make any sense. I'm seeing a lot of people online being very upset about this. That it would be title versus title. They get unify the titles. I don't think that's the case. Again, unifying the WWE Championship and the fucking US Championship makes no sense. Um, but yeah, it definitely isn't going to be title for title. It's going to be champion Cody versus challenger Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like this truly, as Logan said uh, in the segment, this is the match that truly kicks off the Paul effect era, and I am very much looking forward to that match. It's going to be a fantastic match.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I thought they both cut really good promos on each other. They didn't really make it clear, um, like if it was for both titles, no title, or one title, because Wikipedia says it's just champion versus champion. But I guarantee you, the WWE Championship's at least going to be on the line. They're going to do the contract sign next week, so that's going to like make it more clear. I could, I wouldn't mind if they did title versus title. Um, and they had Cody win the U.S. title. I don't think they do the unification. I could see them taking the Seth method, where he just has both titles, and like, maybe Cody would just lose it on SmackDown or something. Like Seth when he had it, he lost the U.S. title very quickly. I think it's a good way too to get the U.S. title off of Logan, and get him doing bigger things. But if it's just for the WWE Championship, I wouldn't complain about it. I'm a fan of this match happening. Logan's very popular in Saudi Arabia and everything like that. And it kind of makes sense, because this kind of a match I've wanted for a little bit, and I love the jabs that Cody gave Logan Paul in the segment and everything like that. It was all very good.
It was a really, really good opening segment. I liked it a lot. It wouldn't, I mean, not like unification, but like for Cody to have both belts really wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah,
What the hell is Logan going to do? If he loses, it wouldn't make any sense for him to, like, oh, I'm going to want to fight you again. Like, now Cody has both belts. Like, it just really wouldn't make any sense.
yeah, it's probably just gonna be for one title. I could see them doing something though
I
that.
think if champion, I think that means that it's non-title maybe, or it's kind of confusing a little bit, but I guess title versus title would mean both titles would be on the line.
Yeah, so that's yeah.
But again, like either way, like I think the match is going to be great.
I do. I agree. I think it would be awesome.
Um, next, they cut backstage, and AJ Styles, not Style, um, he's being interviewed, and he says he's going to fight his way back to another title match, and he's going to do so by winning the King of the Ring. Good promo by AJ, like coming off of the defeat of at Backlash in Lyon, France. It's a good way for him to kind of get back into the title pictures by winning the King of the Ring.
Yeah, it was a good
Uh,
promo. And kind of hyped him up for his match with Randy Orton and everything like that. So that was good. This was good stuff.
Now Naomi makes her entrance, and they went to break because they always do that. They probably made Nia Jax wait 45 minutes before they actually sent Naomi out there. Yeah, I thought this match was pretty solid. Naomi ends up winning, as she
No,
should have.
no,
No, not Naomi.
opposite. Nia
Yeah,
wins.
I had Nia won. Nia won. I thought Nia. I forgot that. Yeah, Nia had won with her Annihilator. But yeah, I thought it was a solid match. I would have preferred again like Naomi to win, but Nia is coming off with a couple of losses, so I guess it made sense for her to win. Was that her first match on SmackDown, or was that her second? I
That's her
forget.
first because she showed up and like attacked Bailey. I think is what you're thinking of, and This was their first like legitimate match on the brand. But
Yeah, like legit.
yeah, this was really good though. I give it 3.5 stars. Um, I thought Naomi looked very strong in defeat too. Like she hit like a really good Frankensteiner, um, Hurricanrana type move off of the ropes, and like really took it to Nia Jax. It's just that Nia Jax, eventually overpowered her, which was very logical. Um, and when you kind of saw what how the brackets lined up, it kind of made sense for Nia to win, considering who she's going to face now in the quarterfinals. So I'm okay with Nia Jax winning this, just because it kind of makes more sense because there's a match that's going to happen, which you'll get to later on. But overall, this was really good stuff. I gave the match 3.5 stars.
So Baron Corbin is interviewed next, and he said that things were really going his way the last time that he was on SmackDown, which they weren't. They really weren't going his way. He was stuck in an endless loop of kind of bad gimmicks.
Yeah.
And he goes to NXT, and he says he found himself down in NXT, which he did. He had a really fantastic, phenomenal run in NXT. Started out kind of wonky with now the recently released Gable Steveson. But overall, like halfway through the run, towards the end, he was great. Had that great tag team run with Braun Breaker. They won the tag titles down there. He really did everything.
He did.
Down in NXT. There was really nothing more for him to do. And they drafted him to SmackDown. They kind of broke up the tag team, but they didn't break them up. They didn't turn on each other, which, maybe in the future they'll be teaming back up again. Once one of them gets maybe drafted to the other brand or whatnot. And he says that he's going to wreck shop and he's going to dominate. And then Carmelo Hayes comes in and he says that they starts talking shit and says that he should do what Bobby Lashley did and pull out of because he has no chance. Yeah, I thought the segment was really good. It was very odd because Baron Corbin's been a heel for so long, and now that he's a babyface on the main roster, it's very odd. And Carmelo being the heel, the roles were kind of reversed when they were in NXT. And it was, I very, very much enjoyed this segment.
I did too. I'm really happy that because I was kind of worried because like he had just literally turned face. Like he had his match with Lexis Kin in NXT, and then which he lost. I was kind of worried they were gonna go back and like keep him heel because that usually always happens. Anytime it looks like Corbin's gonna go face, so switch brands or something, and the Blacks act like it didn't happen. So I'm glad this time around they're actually gonna keep him babyface. Because we still didn't really know what Carmelo's heel role was really yet on the main roster because he just really recently debuted and everything like that. But I'm really happy, they're keeping Corbin face. I think there's something new for him to do. And Carmelo Hayes being like, this heel, I think is going to work for him. I don't think he's going to get as we've seen, he's not getting the heel reaction that he was getting towards the end of his NXT run, mainly because of who he's facing at the moment and everything like that. And plus, he's still very new to the main roster versus NXT. He was obviously well established and everything like that. So, but yeah, I was really, I very much definitely enjoyed this segment though.
Yeah, it was a very good segment. And then they go to commercial break and they come back and there's a DIY hype package because they were just drafted to the brand. Corbin comes out first. I will say, big reaction for Corbin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He came out, did the typical babyface thing when they come down and slap hands to the fans. That was really weird to see.
Yeah.
That was very bizarre. I loved it though, and he seems like he was really enjoying himself too.
Because I think I want to point this out. The last time he was a babyface was right before was early black and gold NXT days,
very early, 2015.
Yeah, that's the last time
very
he was
early.
Babyface. And it didn't really work.
When he was the silent dude who won in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it really wasn't working out for him, so they switched walls and everything like that, and they had to go. They kind of had to turn him heel because it wasn't really working for him as a babyface. So that was kind of cool that he's now
Yeah,
like, you know,
after a while, after the first like maybe 3 or 4 times, uh, the first couple of times were like, oh shit, like this is kind of cool. I kind of like this. I was really enjoying the run, and then they turned heel, and it was like, yeah, that kind of made sense. Um, but then, uh, yeah, Carmelo ended up getting the victory. It's a very good match.
yeah,
Which Carmelo winning made a whole lot of sense. Corbin winning too would have made sense, but at this stage, Carmelo winning made a lot of sense, and I agree with that too. It was a very good match.
yeah. I gave it 3 3/4 stars. It's very good. Um, very excited.
Because yeah, um, Bailey was interviewed backstage. There's a lot of talented women in the Queen of the Ring tournament, but she's really interested to see how it goes for Jade Cargill. She's very interested to see how it goes because Jade is obviously the wild card of this entire thing, being very new to the brand, very new to WWE, and now she is one half of the women's tag team champions. So it's very interesting to see how it goes. And then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven come in, and she basically says that they're going to knock out Jade out of the tournament. And yeah, that was it. I thought this was an okay segment. It was really just a way to get Jade onto TV again before the match. But yeah, it was really just an okay segment.
Yeah, good stuff. You know, I think this is gonna set up Bailey's next feud. With it looks like she's gonna feud with Chelsea Green next for the belt. Maybe they won't have like a full on feud, but maybe they'll face each other on SmackDown for the title or something. Um, and which I think makes sense. It's an easy because everyone, all the women on SmackDown seems like all the top women are taking the time's being taken up by the Queen of the Ring. So like that's like a nice opponent that Bailey can face. With that way she's not like at least doing completely nothing. Like so I like that. And yeah, I just enjoyed this segment very much.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty solid segment. But yeah, um, they they go to commercial break, and there's a big hype reel for WrestleMania 41.
Yeah.
As we found out, it was in Las Vegas, which is interesting because it was between Minnesota and Las Vegas, and it seems like Las Vegas won out this time.
I think
Vegas has been in the running for quite a while.
Steve and I talked about this last time. The biggest interesting fact is because WrestleMania is later this year. It's going to be like around the time when most people are getting ready for like the finals in college and everything like that. So that might kind of you know yeah. I'm not saying the tickets will be bad, but that might affect the ticket prices a little bit because like a lot of people who you know before the finals probably try to get like a last like big trip in to go to WrestleMania and everything like that. Like some people may not be able to do that now because that would be when the finals are taking place in college and everything like that.
Good stuff, but they can figure it out. I still think there's going to be a big crowd there.
Yeah, I feel like because I remember when I when like final time at least here is like kind of like early May. I think it's always that way for like colleges. So I feel like it'll be tough for people to squeeze it in, but I feel like people are gonna find a way to squeeze it in. I don't feel like people aren't gonna. Wrestling fans are dedicated enough where I think they would actually take the risk of failing their finals if it means going to WrestleMania.
Oh fuck yeah!
So I haven't closed my window as you can tell.
I know it's like there's a lot of chirping going on there.
I am too lazy to close it
So
right now.
finally, we're going to close their window.
I'm not doing that. No, this is principles.
uh,
Hey,
so
people at least beeping at us, so that's good.
so then they cut to Randy Orton, and he's interviewed backstage, and he says he's accomplished a lot of things in his career. But one thing he has not accomplished is King of the Ring because it fucking wasn't around for the majority of his time in WWE. It stopped being a pay-per-view when he was like a rookie. So
I don't even think he's ever been in the tournament, actually.
he hasn't been. I don't think he's ever been in the tournament, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Like, that's because it hasn't been a thing.
So
Like, they did it like
is this Liv Morgan
they did
saying
like one time in the last like fucking 20-something years.
So is this Liv Morgan saying she wants to win the SmackDown Women's Championship when she was young, all over again,
Yeah.
pretty much, when there wasn't a thing back then?
Yes. Yes. Well, the King of the Ring was a thing, so that kind of goes in his favor. But Liv Morgan saying that she wanted to be a SmackDown Women's Champion when the SmackDown Women's Championship didn't fucking exist.
It'd be funny to think if they just didn't want Randy Orton to win the tournament, but they didn't necessarily like want to have the tournament not put him in it. It'd be funny to think is like, okay, why don't we not do the tournament? And if you think about the only time they've done it is when Randy Orton's just busy with other fans. Like, Randy, you're busy with other fans. You can't be in this tournament right now. It's like they didn't want him in the tournament. It's like, nah, you can't be in
it. Not allowed to be in it. But he says that he has another. He's going to give AJ another RKO. I almost say he's going to give him another phenomenal forearm. That's not exact. That's not what he does at all.
I don't even think he could.
He says he's gonna hit him with another RKO, and then he addresses Tama Tonga, that fucking assassin. He says that the Bloodline took out Kevin Owens last week, which they did because they beat the shit out of him. And Simone spiked him and everything too. Yeah, and he says that he's going to beat the shit out of Tama Tonga. So we'll see if that actually happens. I would actually look forward to seeing that match.
Yes, and they're both in the tournament, so
hopefully we get to see that. That's actually one thing that I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a very good segment by Randy Orton. He had a fantastic promo here. I love when he like stopped and then he was just like, you know what, I'm not done. He just was like, he just realized he wasn't done talking yet. So like, you thought the segment was gonna be like over, but Randy was just like, nah, this segment ain't over yet. Like that was good.
Oh, I say it's over.
It would have been funny if it just continued the rest of the show until like his match was coming up. He just continued state. He just like, this segment's gonna continue for as long as I want.
Fuck yeah, he's Randy Orton.
Like they did like a split screen of like the show and like his segment, like, and he was just talking over everything.
Yes, no commentary, just a Randy Orton promo for fucking 2 hours. Let's do it.
Love it.
So next we get to that first round qualifying match. It's Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven, and you blink and you miss it. Because Jade Cargill won with Jaded. Not really much of a match, I guess, but it's pretty impressive that she got Piper Niven up in the Jaded and won. But yeah, it's again nothing really to write home about. It was pretty obvious when looking at it, going Piper Niven versus Jade, and I wonder who was going to win that match, and it certainly wasn't going to be Piper Niven.
Yeah.
So
I actually thought this was a good match. I thought Piper Niven got in a lot of stuff. And I feel like they got to do it what you recommended WWE does and not take the AEW method where Jade just has squashes. It felt like Piper did put up somewhat of a fight in this match and everything like that. And, it seems like Jade's, because the mistake that AEW made with Jade is she never really faced, like, the top talent in AEW, really. She kind of just faced, like, all the mid-coders for the most part and kind of ran through them very quickly.
Mid-lower guard.
Huh?
Why do you think that she lost steam so quickly?
Yeah, so I feel like, too, she has much more personality, like, in WWE than she did in AEW. I don't know where this personality was.
Way more.
I mean, to be fair, I know we rap on AEW a lot, but she does have more experience now than when she was in AEW. Like, she was just starting out when she in AEW. So in fairness, it probably took a while to find that personality, but it seems like WWE's found the personality that AEW was just never able to find with Jade Cargill. I give the match
never to pull up.
Yeah, I give the match 3 stars. It seems like Jade Cargill's having a great time in WWE. I love watching the press conferences that she has with like Bianca Belair, and she just gives Bianca shit every time she brings up damage control. I think that's wicked funny. Just like, oh my gosh, stop putting it. She's like legit. Stop putting it up. Can you imagine too? She ends up leaving it WWE and goes back to AEW just so she doesn't have to hear Bianca talk about like damage control anymore. That'd be hilarious. That'd be awesome. It's like, yeah, I'm not. I don't want to listen.
Stop talking about damage control.
But anyhow,
Damage control.
what the, maybe I want to think of the match, but how do you think Jay Cargill has been showcased in WWE versus AEW and everything like that?
I think she's been showcased very, very well. Again, like her moveset looks like it's been opened up a little bit. And she doesn't. I mean, granted, she was a rookie in AEW and she was really kind of starting out. But they put the belt on her and it looked like they were afraid to take it off of her because they didn't want her to lose.
Yeah.
So she just got really stale, really fast. And that win streak too, man. That really it just hampered everything.
Yeah, definitely.
And she wasn't showing a whole lot of personality. She was very like robotic, and she hasn't been in the business that long. But at the same time, it's like she's showing way more personality. She looks like she's having a lot more fun.
I think a big example
just
of that.
from looking at.
I think a big example of that. Do you remember, like, because they just did a house show recently on like Mother's Day and stuff, and like Jay brought her daughter into the ring, and like every time her daughter's been on camera in WWE, she's like seems excited about it. AEW, her daughter did not want to be on camera back then. And I don't know what was going on, but
but yeah, I think she's been pushed properly.
Yeah. The other interesting. Right. The other interesting point though, because I don't think Jade's winning the tournament, so I'm gonna wonder, are they gonna do like a double like when Nia and Jade face off? Are they gonna have like a double count out type of thing or something, like where they have to, where they both get eliminated from the tournament, so that way whoever like is in the other bracket will just get a bye or something, just because I just kind of see. I don't think Jade either because if Jade was a heel, I could see her win the tournament, but I don't see Jade winning the Queen of the Wind tournament if she's like this over baby face right now. But we'll see.
It's tough. Like, I mean, but again, if you want to do this run properly and not fall into the trap of it that AEW did, just have her lose.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
She'll look strong.
Yeah.
You can have her get screwed.
We'll see what happens.
Experience or whatever, but like again, you can't fall into this trap where she's fucking 150,000-0, and then she loses to a weak opponent like AEW did. You have to. I think getting the loss out of the way now makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It has to be a screwy finish. It can't be like, oh, she just straight up lost clean. It needs to be like a distraction, like damage control or something.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that would be interesting. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Because give her like a loss that like is justified for her to lose.
Well, good match. I give it 3 stars.
So Bianca Belair makes her entrance, and they go to commercial break, and then Shinsuke Nakamura cuts a promo, basically saying that he's going to destroy everyone on SmackDown, and that no one is safe.
We'll see.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so, because everything with him with Cody started out great, and then it started to falter.
That's why I kind of
everything he was doing was great. Started to falter.
I kind of hope.
And his contract coming up too, but I see him not leaving either.
The only thing that sucked is like, I don't think they should have probably put him on SmackDown just because like he's on the same brand as Cody, so he's kind of limited in what he can do because he can't really challenge for the top title. I think if they had just kept him on Raw, especially too because him and Dragunov, I thought had like a banner. I thought they could have done more with that, like have a best of 7 series or something. But that just doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
I feel like if they're gonna turn Damian face, I feel like they could have easily have kept Nakamura on Raw and have him face Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title, and then have, Nakamura win the World Heavyweight title from interference from Judgment Day.
Yeah, definitely. And
who knows, maybe he would join Judgment Day and then he'd be the leader or whatever.
Yeah, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he does on SmackDown. Because that sucks too. Is all the champions. He can't fight for the U.S. belt because the U.S. champ's a heel. Um, and the tag champs are heels, so he can't really get a partner.
You can easily turn Logan into a face, though. I think. I think you can. I think you can. I think you can turn him into a pretty. But again, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they could turn Nakamura into a face and just keep the fucking same gimmick that he has.
Yeah, but then what happens? But then he feuds with Logan, and then he loses that program. We're kind of still stuck with where we're at with Nakamura, where he just
Yeah,
kind of.
that is true. I mean, he's limbo, but at the same time, his contract is coming up, and I heard a lot of the fact that New Japan's not really in his sights.
Yeah.
So a return back home to Japan's not really in his sights. They said he loves living in the United States.
Right.
So, and he seems pretty content in WWE. I mean, they could push him a lot better, but I feel like he's also had a really fantastic run in WWE, and I really just don't see him leaving.
Yeah. The only thing, you know, unless he wants to go back and like work in a more aggressive style, I could see him going to AEW. But I feel like he's pretty content with the style that he's like that. Plus, too, it's not like too. I mean, even though like he doesn't have like the hard hitting style as much in WWE. I mean, he's had some hard hitting matches like very recently, anyways. And like the match with Dragunov, for example, was a very hard hitting match he just
Oh
had
yeah,
recently. He's had some, he had some hard hitting matches with Cody and Seth. I definitely think he's going to stick around, especially too because I think he's towards the end of his career. I feel like he's pretty much faced everyone in AEW that there's no real new matchups that he could go have in AEW that he would you
yeah.
know yeah you know but we'll see.
He's also too at the age that a lot of the superstars are at now. He's over 40 years old.
Yeah.
Like they're not. He's not near the end, but he's also not at the middle or the beginning. He's been wrestling for I would have to say over 24, almost 30 years now. I would say.
I mean, we said all. I want to point this out. So we said all of this stuff about Edge, and then he ended up going to AEW. We were proven completely wrong. So I wouldn't. Well, we said all of the same stuff, and then Edge joined AEW. So Nakamura
Yeah,
could very well do the same thing.
he could do the same thing too, but I always thought he was very more. He seems very content. I mean, he had a chance to leave before and he didn't.
Yeah.
Uh, he's always reports always come out that how much he loves being in WWE. So
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
yeah, see what happens with that. But that next is that match now is Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae, and if you couldn't tell, Candice wasn't winning.
Yeah. No way. No way.
So Bianca wins with the KOD. Not a fucking surprise.
Good match. Very short. I think that's like the only offense Bianca Belair got in the match. Her leg got pretty messed up in this match, and that was pretty much it. Um, yeah, nothing to it really. I gave it like 3 stars. It was just kind of whatever. Um, so there you go. Just whatever. With nothing else to say.
Now, here comes probably the most interesting part of SmackDown, in my personal opinion.
Yep.
A bad stage segment with the Bloodline. You have Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, Tonga Loa, and Tama Tonga. And they're all backstage. And Solo asked Paul if he heard from Roman. He says he hasn't. And he also questioned him because when they walked by Jay, they walked in front of Jay, and he walked behind, and Paul walked behind Jay. And he asked Paul if that was a sign to sort of help him. And he said no, it wasn't. And then he asked if he had talked to Roman. And Paul said he hadn't talked to Roman since WrestleMania. And Solo said that he did. And you see the look on Paul's face after that. He was shocked.
Yeah.
And he was shocked. And he said that while Roman is gone, that Solo is the interim tribal chief. And that made him, and that made Paul Solo's wise man. And he ended up hugging Paul Heyman and very cautiously on Paul's end. And Solo gave him the hug, and the look on Solo's face, he looked right back at Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, and I have a feeling that someone is not going to be a wise man very soon.
Yep. I feel
I feel like it's happening sooner than we think.
the big thing is I think Solo's lying. I feel like Solo made it up. I don't even think Solo's talked to Roman. I think he lied to Paul Heyman here. Um,
I think he did too, and
yeah.
I think it's going to be super fucking interesting in the months coming.
But I like the segment a lot. Uh, you know, they keep adding more layers to the bloodline story. They added them a lot quicker than I thought. Because I thought I didn't expect this soon. We were gonna even hear about how Paul Heyman is the one that pulled Roman Reigns out of the draft and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
This thing, I like that we're getting like slowly new wrinkles in the storyline and everything like that.
Oh, and Solo said that he was upset that Paul had pulled them out of the draft, and instead of them going first overall, they went in the 4th round.
Because they didn't have Roman, so they didn't really have that big name anymore and stuff. So that made sense. I really like this segment. I feel like we're getting a really good character in the Solo, and this kind of brings me into what I want to talk about. We're going to talk about this at the end, but we're talking about it now. There's been some reports that's come out recently about the reason they're holding off Jacob Fatu's debut, as they're worried that he'll overshadow Solo because his India career, he was very much he could do all the athletic stuff, and he was very, he could talk very well on the mic. He's worried that he's going to overshadow Solo Sikoa, and they kind of want to put the focus on Solo right now. So it's kind of interesting that they're holding off Jacob Fatu's debut. So maybe they're trying to get as much steam into Solo at the moment, so that way that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't, but I don't think that would hold them back from putting him in there right now, though.
Yeah,
I just think also another thing too is it's going so good, and then Fatu's about to debut, and then all of a sudden it's, they're afraid now. But they're not afraid. They're just not doing it right now.
Yeah. So I think Meltzer's the one that reported that, so I would take that with a grain of salt.
He's an idiot. Of course it is. But it's going to be interesting because I think this too. I think Paul getting taken out is a way for Jimmy to come back as a stronger babyface.
Definitely, yeah. The only thing that sucked is they kind of complicated this by not having Jay go to SmackDown with them, because now it's like, but I feel like they're gonna do a trade again.
They are teasing them, so I think that might be a trade.
Yeah, like Jay will get, or like Roman will request a trade, for Jay to go to SmackDown, type of thing. Because what's Roman? Is Roman a free agent right now? They haven't made that clear because he's pulled from the draft, but
he's a free agent.
Yeah, so. Because I feel like what's going to happen is Roman's not going to come back and immediately be a babyface. I think what's going to happen is it all just depends on the timeline of everything. I think, they still need to do something with Roman and Seth, because that was a big thing that caused them to lose the championship at WrestleMania. If Seth's back by then, I definitely think you need to do Roman versus Seth as like his last big match as a heel again. And Roman loses that match, and that causes him to get kicked out. Or you have him just go for the belt again. But I feel like the biggest thing is they can't leave that Seth and Roman, that bit at the end at WrestleMania. They can't leave that untouched. They have to kind of go back to that at some point. And I feel like
I think that was their way of finishing that up, in my opinion.
We'll see though.
Because Seth did the exact same thing, and Roman did that as revenge.
So yeah, that would be interesting if that is how they wrap it up, and that's what caused him to get kicked out. Because I guarantee you, the one that's pulling the strings is the final boss, The Rock. Obviously, I think that's going to lead to the heel Rock versus babyface Roman Reigns. It's gonna rule.
I think that when he said that he talked to the Tribal Chief, I think he was talking to The Rock and not Roman Reigns.
Yep, that could be the case.
That's what I'm seeing a lot of too. People are saying that, hey, maybe he's talking to The Rock and not. And The Rock gave him the reins to be the interim tribal chief because Roman lost at WrestleMania.
Yeah, very much so. Um, I'll be right back to continue talking about SmackDown.
Um, so the Street Profits make their entrance and they go to commercial break like they always do. And when someone's making an entrance and they come back and there's a hype package for Andrade El Idolo. This is a pretty good hype package. And then we get to that match now. It's Angelo Dawkins, who I believe was the replacement for Bobby Lashley, versus Tama Tonga in the first round of the King of the Ring finals. The King of the Ring tournament, not finals. First round of the King of the Ring tournament. It's very, very, very good match. This is Tama Tonga's first singles match in WWE. And right out of the gate, it was just incredible from start to finish. And they go back and forth. And at one point on the outside, Solo and Tonga Loa are out there. And Montez does one of his crazy flip dives over the top rope and knocks them both down. They end up getting back up a little bit later. Tonga Loa had Montez Ford, and Solo nailed him with a Samoan spike. That caused the distraction. And Tama Tonga ended up winning with in what they call in the WWE games, the jumping complete shot, or pay dirt, or little Jimmy, or whatever the hell they're going to call it, but it's that kind of move. Like a jumping reverse STO type of move. But yeah, I thought this match was really good match. It was a really good opener to Tama Tonga's solo career in WWE. Just a really, really good match. And a really good way for Tama Tonga to kind of begin at Backlash all the way through to this SmackDown. He looks like a fucking killer out there. Loved it. So the post-match, Solo gets into the ring, and he hits him with the Samoan spike for good measure. So the Pride, minus Bobby Lashley, were just completely decimated. And yeah, Blair Davenport got herself a hype package for her debut. Package. Yeah, I just finished talking about the Tama Tonga match.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of go through everything. Andrade's vignette was good. Kind of interested to see what he does on SmackDown. I think he should go into a feud with Santos to kind of, since that's still kind of a thing. And then the Angelo Dawkins Tama Tonga match was really good. I gave it like 3 stars. Really good showcase for Tama. And I like that, Angelo almost had the match like won and everything like that. Like he didn't get completely jobbed out by Tama, which I thought was going to happen to kind of make it look.
He hit his like sky high finisher, or whatever he calls it. That was almost it too. Interesting. I really like that.
And then the bloodline looked really strong. This does make me question, this is probably why I think they, pulled Lashley, because I feel like, I don't think this would have been effective doing this with Tama if he did it. Well, it probably would have been more effective, but I don't think this was. I feel like this gave like Tama like a dominant win, so that way he could beat someone like Angelo. Because I don't think he would have been able to do this with Bobby.
No,
and then
definitely not. So
I
kind of made sense.
Yeah, I think they're setting something up with like Bloodline versus the Pride now, which I think will be good stuff. And then Blair Davenport vignette was good. That's the only one like vignette that we got. I mean, I know we got one for Dragunov and Lyra. It was kind of interesting. We didn't get one for like Dijak or Kiana James on Raw, since they haven't made their debuts yet. I definitely think at least Kiana should have gotten one, since they know the fans on the main roster will know her the least since she hasn't been on the main roster
Yeah.
yet. Uh, Maybe even Dijak because you know, I don't think a lot of people know Dijak as well because obviously he wasn't Dijak when he got called up, but you know, um,
He
I
was
also
T-Bar.
yeah, I also think it's kind of weird they put him on Raw. I know we talked about this just because he's been doing a lot of videos on like his social media drinking the Prime bottles. It seems like you know that was kind of a missed opportunity not to do him versus Logan for the U.S. title type of thing, but that's just not going to happen. So, but overall, like I like the Blood Davenport one. I hope they can kind of really showcase her and kind of capitalize on what Shawn Michaels missed out on because I think she could be a really good heel on SmackDown. Um, Maybe like a future challenger for Bailey for the women's title and everything like that.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I really liked the match too. Like Montez Ford did his cool ass flip dive, and
Yeah,
that led into a Samoan snake. And then afterwards, Angelo Dawkins got one too. So I can kind of see where they're setting that up. It keeps him relevant now, and it keeps Bobby from having to fucking take the pin there,
yeah, because he
or
hasn't
get
been.
beaten down.
Yeah,
I like that.
because he hasn't been. Bobby hasn't looked too strong recently either. Like the last big singles win I think he's had was when he was like U.S. champion, like in the beginning of the Triple H era type of thing. So
Yeah.
he hasn't really done too much.
So this is kind of way for him to kind of be protected.
Yeah,
And I mean, Angelo he can lose all he wants. Like it doesn't hurt Angelo even the slightest bit.
not at all. Yeah,
I can kind of see why they did that though. Instead, I'm like, but Montez probably would have been like a better bump guy for Tama. But like at the same time, I think they're also kind of protecting him a little bit also.
plus it makes Tama look like impressive because he just basically like wiped out this like Angelo and him. Like I think Angelo's got like a bit more size on him and it makes him look more impressive. He
Yeah,
just wiped him out pretty much. So
yeah, he's a bigger guy.
um,
But now the main event of the evening, we have AJ Styles versus Randy Orton in the first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Not much needs to be said. Just this match was terrific. You don't even. I'm not even gonna fucking talk about it
yeah,
because it's so damn good. Randy wins with the RKO. Go back and watch this fucking match because it's a absolute classic. Every time these two step in the ring together, they've been in the ring a few times now. It's been phenomenal. Go back, watch the damn match. It is 100% worth it.
4.5 stars. It was awesome.
What great fucking way to close out the show.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going to happen here. I thought they were going to do something where the bloodline would have cost Randy, and then it would have led Randy costing the like Tama match next week. But I think they're going to go. I think that's just SmackDown Finals is Randy versus Tama. I don't know who wins that.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That match would be awesome.
But yeah, great stuff here. Interesting how Styles bounces back because you know, he just lost to Cody for the title recently, and I thought that's why I thought he was going to win because this would be a good way for him to bounce back, and you could have the bloodline interfered so that way, AJ can get a win without it hurting Randy too much. But it'll be interesting to see how AJ bounces back. But we'll see. We'll see. This loss doesn't really hurt him either, so it's whatever. But yeah, this was a great match. Great way to end SmackDown. And overall, I thought SmackDown was a fantastic show. I'm gonna give it like an A minus. I really liked all the matches that happened, and I like how they're setting all this type of stuff up, especially with the bloodline and everything like that.
Yeah, I do like that. I like it a lot.
Yeah, and that's it for the shows. Couple of news things to break down real quick. We forgot to break it down last week, but Seth last week signed a new contract with WWE, which is good because WWE have now kept both Seth and Drew McIntyre. They both now have signed new contracts. I feel like I forgot to talk about the Seth one because I think I figured he was going to resign, so that's why I didn't really talk about it. That's why I forgot. But I forgot he actually did resign his contract. Good that WWE was able to keep both these guys because these are both big main event players and everything like that. It would have hurt kind of the company big time to lose. Definitely both of them, but even one of them would have hurt the company a big time to lose. And it'll be interesting to see what happens once Seth comes back, because Seth, obviously he's going to be gone for a little while because he just had surgery recently and stuff. It'll be interesting, because he has a new look now, with because he showed that at the Kentucky Derby recently. But what do you think of? Because Steve and I talked about Drew signing, but you could talk about that too since you weren't here for that. But what do you think about both Seth and Drew, like WWE managing to keep them both under contract and everything like that?
I think it's an amazing um, an amazing thing. I knew they weren't going anywhere. As much as the AEW fan base is clamoring for Tyler Black and Drew Galloway, I'm sorry, those people don't exist. It's Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
Sorry. It's it was imperative for them to resign both of them, and they did, and it's glorious
I
to say the
agree.
least.
Um,
Now the one that we're working on is Becky. She has about 3 or 4 weeks left on her contract right now. Um, and there is a 0% chance that she leaves.
Especially now that
And
Seth
if she
resigned.
does, it's because she's taking care of Rue and
Yeah,
doesn't want her being on the road. Um, because they're on the road all the time. They're barely even home. They take their daughter fucking everywhere. So it's like, it's time. It's going to be interesting, but Becky is at 0% chance she leaves. Um, but yeah, she's probably going to sign relatively soon, I would say.
I would say Becky's
Uh,
probably going to sign like maybe more of a part-time deal than maybe Seth will. Um,
yeah, because I still think Seth's got a lot more mileage left in the tank, and I think he's going to come back really reinvigorated. I think it's going to take. I think him taking off this month to get surgery, these months to get surgery, let his back heal up, let his shoulder heal up. Like his body is ravaged right now,
yeah, definitely.
and he's absolutely earned this time off.
Yeah, he was a workhorse last year. Um, and
Even into this year too, even with the meniscus injury.
yeah, definitely. And Drew, like I talked about this, I'm happy he resigned. I think that's why they cooled the breaks. I mean, I know they just did that segment on Raw with Punk and Drew this year, but if you notice, they don't seem to be in a rush to do that match now that Drew resigned his contract. Um, and which I'm happy about. Um, I think Drew, had he not gone through this character change, I think that's it was making me think about a little bit more whether or not he was going to resign. I feel like if he didn't make this change, who knows what would have happened. Um, I think he probably would have stayed just because he likes WWE, but I think this character change and this feud with Punk is what convinced him pretty much to stay and everything like that because like he's just
Oh, absolutely.
on the best run of his career. And I just don't think AEW would have capitalized on like the momentum that he would have had. I think he would have lost a lot of it because he'd be off. I don't think he would have. They would have waited till Wembley to debut him, and I think like he would have gotten a big reaction there. But then I feel this gimmick would have been done. Like I feel like he wouldn't have really done this gimmick in AEW just because I don't really see it translated now. I'm really happy he stuck around. I wouldn't be surprised, even though he doesn't like Punk, if Punk was the one that two that convinced him to stay because you know, again, I feel like Punk's going to be the deciding factor because he was backstage doing AEW and saw it go downhill, and I think he's going to be like, yeah, you don't want to go there type of thing. I think Punk's going to be. That's why you've talked about this. That's why AEW's biggest mistake is Punk because they should not have let him out of there because now he can talk about what it's actually like behind the scenes on AEW now and everything like that. So, um,
Oh yeah.
because there's stuff that like we haven't even heard about type of thing. So, um, and yeah, I think Becky definitely will resign. I don't really see you know AEW being able to pick her up and everything like that. And again, I mean, I know AEW says we have less dates, but didn't FTR post a thing recently where they missed Father's Day or something, or like some type of holiday? Um, but when they ended up resigning, so like even that's not true sometimes, but we'll see. Um, But yeah, I'm really happy though that WWE was able to keep these people, which explains some of the releases that just happened recently. They were probably kind of trimming the fat because they just had to kind of spend big recently on, you know, Seth and Drew's contracts. So um, and I think they kind of used that as kind of like so that way they could kind of release Drew Gulak without really anybody asking about it until somebody did ask about it, and then it kind of led to some bigger long term effects. Um, but yeah, I can't really think of any other like news thing. I did hear recently that like tickets for Clash at the Castle um, went out. Like fans were upset about it, but I haven't. I've only heard JD from New York talk about that. And I can't really. I'm not going to take that news source very seriously. I haven't heard anyone else report it. So like, you know, it's out there. I'm not. I'm going to kind of. I want to mention that I heard about it, but just the news source I heard about it from. I don't think it's very reliable, so I don't really want to talk about it too much. Anything you want to say about it?
No, not really.
Um, and then yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's nothing left. Um, well, maybe we'll do quick bracketology, just very quick. We'll just fire away quick picks. Who's winning the next bracket of Kid of the Win tournament and Queen of the Win tournaments? Um, we'll do the Raw bracket first. You can just say your pick very quickly. Who's winning? Kofi Kingston or Walter?
Gunther.
I think Walt. I think the same. I think Walt's gonna make it to the finals. And then who's winning? Ilya Dragunov or Jey Uso? This one's tough, but I think I have a winner picked.
I think Ilya.
I think Ilya. I think we'll do for that banner between Ilya and Walter. That'll be the
I
third
think
match.
that's with it.
Yeah, that'll be like a good final match for the Raw bracket. I kind of hope they don't do it like right away. Like they do it the go home week, so that way they can like you know build it up for a week type of thing. But we'll see. Um, all right, so that's both the let's see, because I did Ilya. All right, so the woman match. I feel like I'm missing a match, but um, then we have the women's ones. We have Io Sky versus Shayna. This clearly was a change. I think this was meant to be Selena, but then she got pulled. They went with Shayna. I kind of liked that they're doing this match though because you know this would be like one of those good heel versus heel matches, not the GM mode version of it where they wouldn't like it. So I'll go first this time. I think Io Sky wins. I think this will be a very good match. What do you think?
Yeah, Ilya wins. I think so too. Also.
I think Damage Control will pull some interference, and then we have
Oh, definitely.
Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. I think Lyra Valkyria wins that. There's no reason for Lyra to lose to Zoe.
Yeah, I think that Lara wins also too.
And then we're gonna do some bracketology for the SmackDown side of things. We have LA Knight versus Tama. This one's kind of tough to predict, but I think there's going to be some very heavy interference. I think Tama wins, but I don't think he's going to beat him LA Knight clean. I think either Legato interferes or Bloodline interferes.
Yeah, I agree too. I think Tama wins.
I think they have to protect LA Knight very heavily because he's taken a few big losses recently. So I kind of hope they don't, they can kind of protect him in defeat. And then we have Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes. This one's kind of a tough one to predict because they both could really use the win. But I think Randy Orton wins because I think if Tama wins, I think Randy wins. So that way we can get that match in the finals.
I agree too. Randy wins.
And then yeah, we'll do our predictions for the next set of brackets type of thing. So that's everything that we have to cover. Let's do some nice plugs and promotions because we're very nice people. Is there anything you want to plug or promote? Just anything nice?
There's nothing. I don't have anything to plug.
Oh, that's not nice.
No plug.
You got nothing. You gotta get a YouTube channel going and stuff. You gotta get that stuff going. Like,
Nah.
as for our stuff, GM mode's coming back this week. We found a time where we could do it, so we're gonna do it. And then GM mode. We're gonna finally do that Aftershock where we cover the Bray Wyatt documentary. We couldn't really fit it in this time, so we're definitely gonna do that. And then Yeah, that's it. I can't think of anything else to plug. Oh, obviously, tier lists. Um, Chris and I may or may not do one for King of the Ring winners. I'm not sure yet. Um, it's looking like a yes. But if like Chris is too uh, unavailable that week, we'll see what happens. And then obviously on the Talkinator, check out all the non wrestling stuff there. And that's pretty much it, guys. We will talk to you guys later.